Get your Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations.
Job site workwear, tough different jobs.
This month in Sports History Moment is brought to you by Discount Diesel Parts.
February 19th, 2010, Montgomery wins Olympic gold. Skeleton racer John Montgomery won Olympic gold at the 2010 Vancouver Winter Olympic Games, just 0.07 seconds ahead of the silver medalist. He followed up the victory with his infamous beer walk amongst the masses in Whistler Village.
Hi, folks. This is Big Al from Discount Diesel Parts. Interstate McVie is a highly respected manufacturer with over 70 years' experience in the heavy-duty diesel engine parts industry. And as an authorized dealer, we've been serving Western Canada with those high-quality engine parts for highway trucks, farm machinery, heavy equipment, transit, and marine, and at a great price, too. Reach us at discountdiesel.ca and know that Discount Diesel's got the parts to get it done.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Have your sports curiosity cured.
6 goals in the last 4 games. Oh, here's McDavid breaking through.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
They come back home, got families in the stands, and that makes a difference. Big loss pass for Nick Roberts had broken up, but look at the speed. But there it is. Connor David of Beauty.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
They caught the Edmonton goaltender high. We'll see it comes out the center. The crisscross. Connor McDavid will dust it off a pirouette. A shot.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul. 612 Wednesday, February the 25th. The NHL is back, baby, for the post-Olympic stretch run. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 on your AM radio dial on your morning drive into work or wherever you're heading out on a Wednesday morning. So glad you could spend some time with us here on a Wednesday where, man, it's going to be a nice day today. Looking at highs of 4 or 5 for the next couple of days, a little dip, and then we're back to, once March rolls around on the weekend, it's March weather, and man, it's just kind of good. It feels great to be out of the clutches of winter, and hopefully we're done with the minus 20s and something like that, but still a little ways to wait, a little ways to go. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. You can watch us on YouTube as well on Sports 1440 AM. You can drop us a like and drop us a subscription. We're also on X, Facebook, Instagram, even Twitch. As always, we are streaming on iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, even on sports1440.ca. And if you miss any part of the show, you can catch up by searching it where all the podcasts hang out, because that's what they turn into on Apple, Spotify, Google, even Amazon. Subscribe there as well. Select the auto download. You'll never miss a second of the show. Yeah, it's great to have the NHL back. I mean, I was just over doing the K97 hit with Pete Panotsky, and it's like, man, the Olympics just, as far as men's hockey went, because, they started a little later, almost a week into the games, and then bang, here we go. The hockey's over, gold medal game on Sunday, and now we're back to the NHL schedule where it is like a Texas death match down the stretch for so many teams trying to make a playoff spot, trying to solidify a playoff spot. And the Edmonton Oilers are one of those teams. And they head into Anaheim tonight, the first of back-to-backs for the Oilers as they take on the LA Kings tomorrow night. And then it's 3 and 4 with San Jose on Saturday afternoon. The Oilers played Anaheim back at the end of January, beat the Ducks 7-4 at Rogers Place. I think a lot of people might remember that game. Matthias Ekholm picked up the hat trick, had the empty netter, and that was the face-off win from Leon Draisaitl, and just the way the play developed. And they had the 2-goal lead, so you could take a chance with maybe face-off alignment and give a defenseman like Ekholm a little more time back there if Leon were to win the face-off cleanly, and he did. Ekholm sends it the length of the distance and picks up the hat trick, his first 3-goal performance in the NHL. And that was a 4-point performance for Leon Draisaitl, as he had 4 assists later. And speaking of Draisaitl, he skated yesterday at the Honda Center as the Oilers held practice. Mark Spector was there, was reporting on it. So Leon's good to go and ready to roll tonight against the Ducks. As for Connor McDavid, well, he arrived in Anaheim last night at some point. Chris Knobloch said that they'll kind of reevaluate where the captain is after a lot of travel and a lot of emotions from Sunday morning. But I think that he's going to play tonight. I think he's going to be ready to go tonight. And he wants to be part of this team that has a hell of a final 24 games. So that'll be announced today at the morning skate. And Connor McDavid will skate, and that's at 11:30 local time, I guess it would be, because of the start. So that's we'll find out exactly where the Oilers lineup is at the morning skate, because Matt Savoy is going to be recalled. It's nothing official that hasn't happened paper transaction wise anyway. But Adam Henrique will come off LTIR. Kasperi Kapanen, I mean, it was just a few days ago that Coach Knobloch said that Kapanen was going to miss a little bit of time, but we'll see what happens there. And I mean, there's so many other options, but you have to do the cap balancing and things like that to get things moving forward. It's an 8-game slate in the NHL, so they're not messing around James Brown with the games that are going on tonight. And there are, when you look at potential playoff implications, seeding, and just trying to, again, solidify some positions and get into the playoffs, there's some doozies tonight because so many things ride on so many big games. Buffalo is in New Jersey to play the Devils tonight. We got the Philadelphia Flyers on the road in Washington. The Toronto Maple Leafs, will get to that story in a moment with everything going on with what happened last night with the State of the Union address, etc. They take on Tampa Bay. Seattle visits the Dallas Stars. Colorado's on the road in Utah. Vancouver home to the Jets. And then we've got the Golden Knights and Kings, and then the Oilers and Ducks later tonight. In case you missed it, the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team attended the White House, or, they had lunch at the White House and then went in for the State of the Union address. Not all of them did. There were 20 players that went to visit Donnie Boy, for lunch and a meet and greet in the Oval Office. And then several of them disbanded at that point because they weren't going to wait around 6, 7, 8 hours for the State of the Union address. One of those players was the captain, Austin Matthews. And it's funny how you look at things and how some players look at how they went about attending things last night. And I'll be honest, this is not anything political, in my opinion, nothing at all. Some of them wanted to go, some didn't. I look at a guy like Jake Gensel, who was, the plane gets back to Florida, and Gensel goes, we got a game against the Leafs on Wednesday. I'm hightailing her to Tampa to get ready for the game. Austin Matthews goes to the party, then goes on a plane yesterday morning sent by the president, goes to Washington, goes to the Oval Office. They have lunch. You know what they had for lunch? They had McDonald's double cheeseburgers. That's what Donnie Boy ordered him in for lunch. McDonald's double cheeseburgers. And then flies back and gets to Tampa sometime last night and is apparently good to go tonight. In case you also missed it, Connor Hellebuck, old Trumper, is going to award him, and announced it last night, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And there have been many athletes, and when you listen to the stuff that comes out of his mouth, obviously you have to take it with a grain of salt. He said, this is a very prestigious award. There's, no more than 10, 11, 12 athletes that have ever received it. Well, that's not correct. I think there's close to 3 dozen. But anyway, Connor Hellebuck will be receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Hey, let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne on a Wednesday morning, fresh off another game last night, but not a late one for you, Duke. Not a late one.
No, the 6:15 skate at Nate Arena had me home relatively early. No problems there. Tonight, not the case. 10:30 puck drop for the Tropics at Confed.
10:30. So that's a midnight game over?
Scheduled wise, yeah, hour and a half time slot. So technically off the ice by
These
midnight.
next 2 nights are going to be screaming.
Oh man! And then,
Critters
like I said,
tomorrow.
I don't want to say bullied, but almost goaded into rejoining the Tropics, which I'm always happy to do. It's fun to go, but yeah, this is a daunting week. Friday morning, well, Friday afternoon, more in particular. I'm already got it circled at about 1:30, 2 o'clock for a nice little rest, nice little relaxation afternoon. But no, it's I'm excited. Hockey's back. It's kind of crazy because we did have obviously Olympic hockey with the past couple weeks, but I mean those games are on at anywhere between 4 in the morning and maybe 1 in the afternoon at the latest.
Your
spot.
sleep
So
patterns are way off, dude.
everything is amiss, Kevin. Everything has gone awry. So hopefully looking to right the ship a little bit tonight. Obviously going to catch as much of the game before heading to hockey as I can, and then upon returning home, catch the rest of it. And it's against my Ducks in SoCal.
Yeah.
Happiest place on earth, right across the street at Disneyland. So I'm looking forward to it. The playoff matchups, lots of teams duking it out for spots, all going head-to-head tonight, as you mentioned. So it makes for a great slate getting us back into the swing of things.
Well, I mean, the Anaheim Ducks, Seattle's playing as well, too. But, Anaheim is 1 point back of the Oilers. Seattle's 1 point back of the Oilers. That's how tight things are in the Pacific Division. The Kings are right on the doorstep as well, knocking on the door, 4 points back of the Oilers. I slid into the old fart sack last night, and I checked the Oil Kings score. They were up 6-4 on Medicine Hat. And I'm thinking, okay, well, first of all, I was surprised that there were that many goals. But I was thinking, okay, 6-4. Then I wake up this morning and I look, a goal late in the second period by the Medicine Hat Tigers. And then 5 goals in the third period by the Tigers. 10-6 the final. Medicine Hat over the Oil Kings. That head coach Jason Smith not going to be too happy about a 10 spot being put on the board by the opposition. And there were a couple late goals, quick goals late. But man, oh man, he ain't going to be too happy at all with that one. Should mention in the NBA last night, I was watching the fourth quarter of this game, and I thought to our point yesterday and our question in or out, and it was about the Toronto Raptors and how they would perform in this back-to-back with OKC, and then they've got the San Antonio Spurs tonight. And, it was more about the measuring stick, and then where would this team be on the scoreboard? How would they handle it? And I'm going, okay, it's 101, tied at 101 late in the quarter of the fourth quarter. And I'm going, well, maybe the Raptors could even win a game here. Never mind just hold it to something like, I think it was 10 points on average, is what old Josh Fenwick, our basketball expert, said. And then everything went into the toilet right then. As soon as it was at 101, a couple turnovers, missed shots, and then a couple 3-pointers by OKC, and the Thunder win 116 to 107. The Raptors are 1-10 against the top 6 teams in the league. We're going to talk about the Raptors a bit later in the show with Michael Grange, so we'll get his thoughts on that. We'll get, and I mean, also when you got a back-to-back with, the top 2 teams basically in the league coming in with the Spurs tonight, that was, I think you have to consider that a lost opportunity for the Raptors. Also watched a little bit of the Jays and the Yankees yesterday afternoon. Started right when a guy got home, so that was kind of interesting there. I mean, it was these typical Major League Baseball games in spring training. They're all kind of the same, are they not? so many players going in and out, and it's even different this year with the World Baseball Classic coming up. A lot of players will be leaving for games with their respective countries, and not necessarily games, but kind of a mini training camp, if you want to call it that. So text 833-401-1440. King of Fort Nasty texts in. Good morning, KK, Duke, and Finney. Trump got those boys McDoubles, huh? The Duke would have at least got them Baconators. Donnie, the exec, would have had the margarine sandwiches whipped up for them. Cheers. King of Fort Nasty. Duke, would you have got them the Baconator, or I'm looking at you going, you seem to like those breakfast waffle wrap things.
Well, yeah, the McGriddle, the chicken McGriddles from McDonald's. If we're having breakfast, then it's the best thing going right now. I think no doubt about it. But I mean, hey, it's lunch. It's absolutely hilarious we saw the same thing previously when I believe he had I can't remember what team it was that year. Maybe LSU won, and whoever won the national championship in college football, and they had them to their trip to the White House, and just served them up this full spread of all just fast food meals, right? Which, listen,
yeah,
you can get fast food whenever you want. You're going to the White House. Why are you serving professional athletes McDoubles and Chick-fil-A and whatever else? I think that's embarrassing. I wouldn't
mind a steak sandwich or something.
Have something else. Goodness sakes, you're the president of the United States, the White House staff at your disposal, all these factors. It's not like you're feeding 400 people. It's a team of 25 guys.
Do you think that the players were asked and they said something like, because we haven't had something like this for a long time?
Oh, mate. Well, what? As if they don't have McDonald's in Italy?
I don't know.
They definitely do. It's everywhere. But anyway, I love a McDouble as much as the next guy. But I think if I'm going to the White House, I might be expecting something a little bit more plated.
Oh, wow.
Just my opinion. Just my opinion.
I would probably, a steak sandwich would be nice. Something.
Love a steak sandwich.
Could you imagine them serving some nice Alberta beef there?
Could I imagine it? No, I couldn't.
I wonder if the burgers were because I thought I saw something about the Big Macs or the hamburgers in McDonald's way bigger in Europe now.
Really?
Yeah, they're really smaller compared to the Europe and the American restaurants.
I had not heard such a thing.
Oh, there you go. When we come back, Michael Trakos from the Hockey News will be with us. We'll talk about the Leafs. We'll talk about the NHL. Tons to check in with Michael with. Mark Spector's on the ground in SoCal, and he'll check in at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock California time. Michael Grange, as mentioned, from Rogers Sportsnet, covers the Raptors. David Schlemko will be in the house. Hey, our first co-host of the week, as Eddie Steele continues his vacation in Mexico. Ryan Bolding at 9:20, NHL.com, covers the Avalanche. And Emerson Edom in the 10 o'clock hour. He's the Anaheim Ducks, one of them analysts. Former Medicine Hat Tiger. They never played together. They were a couple years apart in the hat, Edom and David Schlemko. When we come back, Michael Trakos from the Hockey News. It's a Kevin Carey show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Once upon this Saturday night, your heroes on the Edmonton Oil Kings host some extra special royalty in Ice District.
Princess Night at Rogers Place is back as your regal Oil Kings look to vanquish the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Fans can dress as their favorite royal, get a free tiara, and find princesses roaming the concourse all night for the ultimate selfie.
Plus, Calmont Kids food combos are $10 or less. The value is king-sized.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Princess Night, Saturday at 7.
Happily Ever After entertainment at Rogers Place begins at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Crave presents a new must-see original crime drama.
You think you can just walk away with drug money and nobody's going to come find you?
The Borderline.
You killed my friend.
Set along the Thousand Islands border, a cop blurs the line to protect his past.
I'm going to keep you out of jail.
Starring Stephen Amell, Tamara Podemski, Hamza Haq, and Minnie Driver.
Did you catch the bad guys?
I always catch the bad guys.
The Borderline. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 7:20 in Edmonton. Time to talk a little hockey with Michael Trakos from the Hockey News. Michael, you're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 14. Oh, his mic just dipped out? Sorry, we'll have to figure it out here. Michael, he'll try to get him hooked up again here. First, when Michael comes on, and this is I got some text coming in, and I don't know, some people and what my point is about, it's not political, about a player. I understand what's going on here, and so I don't need the crap that some people are texting me. Doug Jones, you're one of them. We also had one from Unimpressed in the Park. This is a player's choice. That's the point I'm saying. And the point that I'm making is that some players want to decide if they want to go themselves, and they are putting their team, their club team, ahead of them, ahead of whatever it is. And I'm not saying it's political. They're putting their club team ahead of the American team. That's what they're doing. Have we got Michael back? All right. Hey, let's welcome in Michael Trakos from the Hockey News. A couple ruffled feathers here, Michael. It's Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on to Sports 1440. As usual, really appreciate it, big guy.
Hey, thanks for having me. Bit jet lag, so apologies if I'm sounding less than intelligent as usual.
No, not at all. And like we were talking about, and I you came on as a sort of a late edition overnight for us here. For me, when I knew you were coming on, read your article today, and we're on the same page about how some players, and you use Austin Matthews and Jake Gensel as a perfect example about moving forward here, how they decided about their preparation coming home, and some deciding to do things differently. And you kind of wrote it just perfectly this morning in your article. Maybe just give us your thoughts on how some people on the American team thought it was more important to go to the White House. Some people said, I want to be more prepared for my club team post-Olympic break.
Yeah, politics aside, and I don't want to make this political, as you just mentioned. I think, the NHL put these guys in such a difficult scenario or situation here because, guys like Austin Matthews and, as you mentioned, Jake Gensel, they're having to choose between, NHL team and their country. And for Jake Gensel, you're playing on a team that is number one in the Eastern Conference. Well, Austin Matthews is not playing on a team that's in the same kind of situation. He's captaining a Leaf team that is very much in danger of missing the playoffs, and they need every single win down this 7-week sprint as possible. And if that means you got to skip a State of the Union address as Austin Matthews did last night, then so be it. But the best thing that the NHL could have done is just give these guys more break. They played the gold medal final on a Sunday, and here we are on a Wednesday. Not that, what are we talking, 3 days later, and we're ramping up for the stretch run of the regular season where, let's face it, it's not the first seven weeks of the season. The final 7 weeks are arguably playoff hockey. And for a guy like Matthews, who's probably emotionally drained, physically drained after playing just a heck of an Olympic tournament, it puts you in a real difficult spot because you've got to just jump right back in. And, like I said, politics aside, it was a difficult situation here.
Yeah. So, I mean, he didn't stick around. Like, he was gone after they had their McDoubles or whatever they had in the Oval Office there. So, but by all indications, he'll be good to go for tonight's game, Michael.
That's what we're hearing. We'll see. Craig Berube, the Leafs coach, said that he expects Matthews to be in the lineup. Does that mean he's going to be playing, what Matthews is used to be playing, which is, roughly 18 to 20 minutes a night? Probably not. I imagine they're going to be real careful with his minutes, but at the same time, you got to have to squeeze every ounce of energy out of this guy because, like I said, if the Leafs are going to get in the playoffs, they need Matthews at his absolute best. They probably need him, what we saw at the Olympics and some. So, it's going to be a tough matchup against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously, that's a dangerous team, and they have a lot of well-rested players, especially a lot of the Russians that didn't get a chance to go to the Olympics. So, we'll see if he's in the lineup, and if he's in the lineup, we'll see how much of an impact he makes.
Michael Tracos from the Hockey News with us on the Kevin Carey Show on Sports 1440. As you said, and that was just top of mind to talk about that with me, Michael. But as you said, you were jet lagged, a little tuckered out. How was everything? It must have been just wild.
Oh, it was so good. We waited so long, Kevin, for these Olympics, and as you probably saw, like they delivered and some. So it was a great tournament. It was fun. Like my last Olympics, Kevin, was covering 2010 in Vancouver, and that was obviously special because you got Sidney Crosby in the golden goal, and that seemed like a storybook ending for Canada. The only difference is, like, when you're covering the Olympics in North America, you're mostly walking around the streets and seeing Americans and Canadians. You're not seeing a whole lot of Europeans. But because it was in Italy, like, obviously you see Italian fans, but so many Czechia fans, so many fans from Germany and Switzerland and France and all over Europe, just because it's so easy to travel within Europe. So you had a great flavor of that sense. I was on a bus with just like right before the Canada-Czechia game, and they were breaking into like soccer style songs on the way there. It was a real cool atmosphere. And like I said, the tournament just lived up to expectations.
Yeah. Have you got everyone could say the gold medal game, but maybe just how things built up, Michael? Is there some things that you were like, oh man, you could just feel this building and up to the crescendo that it was?
You know what, Kevin? I was getting worried that after the round robin, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be kind of a 2014 Sochi again, where Canada just runs through the tournament, no adversity, and we're looking back going, that wasn't that great. But they got a heck of a scare in the quarterfinals against Czechia, needing the overtime, and then against Finland, with Teemu Selanne ripping the officiating and having to come back after being down 2-0. So for me, that's where it was really ramping up, where you're going, okay, round robin was one thing, and now that we're into the medal rounds, like, now we're seeing like real competitive hockey. And same thing with the US, like they had a great game against Sweden. So the longer it went, the better it went or got. I would say obviously that gold medal game was just something else, but the speed and the skill throughout, like for a low scoring game, I can't think of another game that was as entertaining as that one.
Yeah. And I mean, just you think about the 3-on-3s, and I mean, Sweden, right? The Czechs again, and basically it was almost an overtime game against Finland for Canada. So the countries that come out, like I always think Slovakia was the sort of the story. I'm sure you would agree, Michael, in the sense of the knockout round. But then after that, you kind of saw what they were, and they had that easier road, and they weren't a top 4 or top 5 team. So there were so many great things. Do you have anything off the ice that you went? As you said, 2010 was your last Olympic Games that you covered for hockey. Was there anything off the ice because of just being in Italy and atmosphere and things like that that really you'll always cherish and remember, Michael?
Yeah, like it was such a hard rink to get to, and I'm not complaining. It was just you had to take a couple subways and a shuttle bus to get there, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise because, like I said, like you're on the subway and it was filled with just people in jerseys, and the Finnish fans are just amazing. They were painting their eyebrows, never mind their hair. Like one eyebrow would be white, one eyebrow would be blue, and whether they're wearing wigs or dyeing their hair blue as well, they just the flavor of the fans. Like we get a sense of that in the playoffs where you think that you're walking around a Canadian city and it seems like everyone is just dialed into the hockey. Well, at the Olympics, everyone's just dialed into every single event, and it just felt like no matter where you went, the entire city of Milan, which is normally fashion city or capital of the world, like this week is fashion week in Milan. So as we were leaving, it was just nothing but leggy fashion models walking the street. Well, a week earlier, it was nothing but just people who are there to cheer on their country. So that was the cool part of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I were the American team, I would have rather stayed there for a couple of days than no.
Right. Like, why are they leaving? Like, this is their time, guys. Hang around, keep the medals around their necks, and go to town.
No kidding. Michael Trickness with us from the Hockey News, covers the Leafs, NHL, everything from soup to nuts there. I just wanted to circle back with the Leafs and John Tavares. Everything cool there? Is he good to go here for post-Olympic?
Yeah, it sounds like he's all good to go. Morgan Riley was another kind of question mark, and he needed that rest. And for a lot of these guys who didn't get a chance to go to the Olympics, and Matthew Nyes is another guy that the U.S. had been looking at, and good thing he didn't go because he had also been banged up. So no excuses in Toronto right now. Like they're 6 points back of the Boston Bruins for that final wild card spot, and it's going to come down probably to the last game of the season, in my opinion. But the good news is they're all healthy. As tired as Austin Matthews might be, it doesn't look like he suffered at the tournament like some other guys. Like, you see Austin or Connor McDavid, it looked like his hand was wrapped at points, and Leon Draisaitl looked like he was maybe banged up at points. But, even William Nylander went into the tournament sort of kind of, in and out of the lineup in Toronto. But, when Finland went out, I asked him, I was like, how you feeling? He's like, no, I'm feeling great. Like I had a good tournament. I'm ready to go. And, I think for the Leafs, they needed to be healthy and for this final stretch run.
So, which you just say, and I mean, we're 10 days, a little bit less than 10 days to the NHL trade deadline. It's a slippery slope, is it not, for GM Brad Treliving to see where the Leafs are in the standings and what they are looking at either way, adding, subtracting. Is it more about just waiting for the first week or so here, Michael? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd be real surprised if they're a buyer. Like I can't see that happening. But what I could see happening is they either stand pat or even Kevin. Like I could see a scenario where they let a couple guys go and still kind of keep enough around where they can still be competitive and still try to get that playoff spot. I don't think they're going to pack things up and put up the white flag and say, okay, all of our guys are available. But there's a couple guys that they could afford to miss and still have an eye towards the future while also keeping an eye on, making the playoffs this year.
Who gets the most talk, you think? Is it Bobby McMahon? Because, he's a local guy out here, played junior just north of the city. Is he top a list for the most talked about Leaf that might be moving?
I think so. And, that's probably an indictment of kind of, the fact that the Leafs just don't have a lot of guys that are going to fetch a whole lot on the market. Is Bobby McMahon worth a first rounder? Probably not. You'd have to be real desperate, and he might be the last guy available where you're going, okay, fine, enough is enough. We're going to have to give up a first for him. but you're looking at probably a second rounder for Bobby McMahon.
Yeah.
The Leafs like him a lot, Kevin. It's not that they want to part ways with him, but I think, with the season he's had, you got to think he's sort of due for a raise. And, if you're the Leafs and you're paying Matthews so much and Tavares and Nylander so much, it might be a scenario where you're just like, we can't pay guys like McMahon, top dollar anymore. We have to look for the next Bobby McMahon.
What? Yeah, that's the whole thing. You want to try to find the guy where you're getting him on a contract like Bobby McMahon had at 1.35, and he goes off and scores his 15, 20 goals. So is there a scenario where he goes, I might take, because I like it here, I like how I've come up through the organization, would he take some sort of a hometown discount to stay, you think?
Maybe if he was in a scenario where they're using him in a consistent top 6 role. But, if I'm him, I'm looking around going, I'm battling even just to get onto the top 2 lines. There's no guarantee if I re-sign here that I'm a guaranteed top 6 forward. Like at times this year, he's been on your 3rd line, even your 4th line. Like he's had to really earn every single bit of ice time that he's gotten. And, with all that speed and you see what he's producing from a goal standpoint, you're going, okay, why isn't this guy just a lock in the top 6? But, true to his nature, he's just kind of one of those guys that just gets overlooked. And, like I said, if it was a scenario where he's like, listen, I re-sign, I get to play guaranteed with Austin Matthews for the next 5 years, I think I could agree with you, but, there's no guarantee of that.
Yeah. Just wanted to maybe get your thoughts on a little bit south with Buffalo and the Sabres resurgence, thanks to a real good hot streak. They're in the number 1 wild card, but still knocking on the door in the division. And it's something we haven't seen, Michael, for 15 years now. I mean, what maybe just from your perspective, being so close to the situation in Buffalo, how cool this is to see the Sabres possibly getting into the playoffs here.
Oh, it's really cool. I got to cover, when Buffalo was going strong in those, early post-lockout days in 2006, 07. And, that was when the Leafs were stinking. So, and the regular season would end and I'd be off to Buffalo and covering the playoffs. So I have a real affinity for that market. It's a strong hockey market. And, it's great to see, Lindy Ruff kind of, getting that team back on track. I think the real difference is, a guy like Josh Doan and what he's added to the lineup. They've always had kind of skilled players, whether it's Tage Thompson, Rasmus Dahlin, and, guys like that. But, adding a Josh Doan to the mix, I think he and Alex Tuck have brought a lot of grit. And even when things aren't going well on a night offensively, there are a couple worker guys that can put on their hard hats and give the Sabres something that they didn't have in previous years. So, I hope they make it. I hope Detroit also makes it. 2 strong hockey markets that have been out of the mix for a long time. So it would great to see them both kind of in the playoffs this year.
Hey, what time does it feel for you right now, Michael? Like being
Oh my God, I don't even know. It says 9:37 in Toronto, but I know it feels like it's probably sometime like dinner time right now for me. My stomach is grumbling.
Well, at least the Leafs are on the road. I guess that's a plus for you.
Yeah, that's a plus, and thankfully my wife has been really good to me, and she's like, "Just take it easy today." I'm like, "Okay, I'll see how long that lasts."
Yeah, great that you're back. Great that you're home. Appreciate you coming on short notice, Michael. Great job covering the Olympics, and enjoy, I guess, the return of NHL hockey tonight. In the next 6-8 weeks here is going to be a lightning fast pace heading up to the end of the regular season. As always, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it, Michael.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Anytime.
Yeah, that's Michael Tracos from the Hockey News. Great article about this morning and about how some players decided to handle things differently about going to the White House and how they felt that it was about more club team than Olympic team. So I've got a lot of texts here, and I mean, I'll be honest. I've never ever been trying to make this political. I don't, and you can say going to the White House last night was political. I don't give a crap about that. I don't. So stop sending the texts and saying about it all being political. To me, what I'm talking about this morning is the players' decision to prepare for their first games back. And some players, and I mean, I can't say it more, like a Jake Gensel deciding, you know what, I don't think I'm going to go to the Shaker at 11 in Miami. I got to get back to Tampa Bay because we got a game on Wednesday. I don't want to go to Washington. I want to be ready. Jackson Lacombe flies all the way across the country once they get into Miami. Brock Nelson. I don't care about all these other guys. So that's not my point here. My point is the players deciding how they want to prepare for their post-Olympic Games. When we come back, we'll probably hear from Leon Draisaitl yesterday. Discuss things with the media. Chris Knobloch was also interviewed. I believe Trent Frederick was had a quick interview, but we'll listen to Leon Draisaitl when we come back on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperature's dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 743 in Edmonton. Text line 833-401-1440. Matt in Leduc says, serving McDoubles is definitely a mistake. Missed steak, he says, Duke. As I said, I would have had a steak sandwich or something. Or could you have the option, maybe you wanted a quarter pounder? Maybe you wanted a Big Mac. Why would I have to settle for...
What about junior chicken?
Or McNuggets or something.
You got that, the new, the hot honey sauce right now. It's excellent.
Now, is it true that they have the onions are already in the patty of the Big Mac now. You know how you used to assemble the Big Mac and you know. I think the onions are.
I haven't had a Big Mac in a while, but last one I had, it was still par for the course, the standard.
I thought I saw that, but I'm not sure. So I like the onions obviously on the top. No one likes it incorporated into the meat.
When you make burgers at home, you don't make them that way with the onions incorporated, and when you're rolling your patties out.
No.
Okay.
No.
You put anything in there?
Oh, Duke, you should see that, man.
Let me guess. They're the best burgers. They're the best you've ever had.
The best. We're winning so much we can't win anymore. We're winning and winning and winning ever since I became. Gordon D says, "Good morning, KK. Can you replay your statement for the next Oilers and Panthers game once a week, please? Thanks, Gordon." Josh Fenwick threw that out on the old socials yesterday. And I can honestly tell you, I've had more response on that comment. I have to do the Rod Peterson show today down in FLA, obviously some people down there.
You have to answer for your comments, Kevin, to the people of Florida.
Well, I mean, I think it's the truth. I think there's a team dynamic here. There's an opportunity for a team dynamic and an all-for-one Wolfpack mentality. And I really think that the Oilers really give it to the Tkachuk and the Panthers on March 19th. Josh, what were you trying to do to me? You're trying to get me like to be some kind of a social media pig or something, or what?
Oh, no. So, but let's all be clear here. Oilers fans hate Matthew Tkachuk.
I think it's more than Oilers fans.
Oh, well, judging by social media, it is in fact true. I think there's a lot of Calgary fans that hold resentment towards Matthew Tkachuk for not coming back and everything. There was a lot of Calgary people that replied. But, I sit here and I pump out content. And
just pump it out.
Just pump it out.
Pump it out.
But the worst part was that I had literally just stopped recording, and then you started to say that, and I was like, oh my God. So I had to go rewind our YouTube to get it. So it's super low quality. But as soon as I finished recording, I went, oh yeah, this is going triple platinum. And
triple platinum.
Yeah. And I even said that to Declan. He's like, yeah, it looks good. And then just like I got home from a dinner last night and I'm sitting at my desk and I go, oh, I better check what this is doing. And it's just, first thing I see when I open Twitter is Eddie telling whoever it was to keep your name out of their tweets.
Oh man. Well, I mean, that's how I feel. And I think that game, there's two things that I think probably will happen. By then, Florida is going to be out of it. If that's the case, then I don't even know if Matthew Tkachuk plays. And I think, to be honest, like it's more of maybe it was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, and it was the post from the Tkachuk brothers podcast about the bridesmaid with the Canadian flags and the German flag. Maybe that's was the end of the line for me. I don't know, but I think the Oilers have a chance, and at that point, we're looking at, it's going to be the 19th of March. It's a Thursday. You've got, we'll have probably, 10 games left on the docket, maybe a tad more. But you're going to know where you are by that point. So I just think that game will be handled differently. And I guess my comments yesterday were about the Oilers playing like Tampa Bay. Like, how many times have we talked about the Calgary-Edmonton rivalry? And I'm not talking about it's everyone thinks I want to see a bench clearing brawl here or something, which, well, I mean, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if it happened, but it's more about getting into the fight and fighting for your teammates and being there for one another, because that can always galvanize a team. I've always believed that. So that's kind of where my point of view is coming on that. So we'll see what happens in that sense. Leon Draisaitl arrived in California and practiced with the team yesterday. Had a lot to talk about. I mean, there were some comments that Leon made before the Olympic break that, they were true. I mean, they were true. And he talked about those and other things yesterday at the Honda Center.
What was your experience like at the Olympics?
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, always representing your country at a stage like that is special. And, get to be able to play with some of my childhood friends and guys that I grew up with playing. That doesn't happen every day for me. So it was really special. The Olympic experience was also great. Sleeps could have been a little bit better, I will say that. But I'm happy. NHL players got to go, and all in all, it was a good experience.
I mean, there were teams there with $200 million salary caps, and your team is a growing nation, though perhaps a potential rising giant. What did you think of, all things considered, that you maybe only really had 3 or 4 legitimate, top?
Yeah, I think we had a better chance at, having a better result at the end. I didn't think we played our best towards the end, but nonetheless, I think for a lot of guys, a great experience to play at that level and to be able to see, what the differences are from guys that play in Germany to maybe the top end guys in the NHL. And it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Quick scouting report on Josh Szymanski, of course, his Oilers property. Spent a lot of time with you on the wing.
Yeah, he was good. He had a good tournament. He played well. I think same thing goes for him. I think it was a great experience for him to be able to, play a big role in playing against, the elite of the elite. And I think it was a growing experience for him, and obviously very useful.
Leon, one of the things we appreciate about you is that you're honest and you let people know how you feel. And obviously, after the game against Calgary, you're animated. I know you had a chance to talk to Chris Knobloch. Just a thought on sort of where you're at right now and what you're hoping to see here carrying forward.
We just have to be better. I stick to what I said. It's not just, players have to be better. We all have to look in the mirror. It starts at the top. It goes all the way down. That's just the way it is. And that's not a knock at everyone. I wasn't trying to, throw anyone under the bus by any means. If anything, I throw myself first under the bus, but it's just a fact. We have to be better. And, we got to change some things and we're in a race right now with 20 some games left. We can't be cruising around like maybe years past a little bit. So, we got to get going and, I stand by what I say, and I think everyone would probably agree with that.
Life experience wise, mixing with the other athletes, did you get a chance to do much of that? And if so, do you have an appreciation for someone who works, 18 years on one event and hasn't decided?
Yeah, I mean, I think the appreciation, it goes without saying, whether I met them or not. I know how much thought, work, and heart I put into my job every day, and that's no different for those athletes that were there. So it was great to be able to meet some of them and be around them, and get to know them a little bit. But obviously, the schedule was compressed, so it wasn't like there was too much of that going on. But if there was some of it, it was always very pleasant and nice.
When you're carrying the flag, what's that like? Do you feel kind of small in relation?
Yeah, you do. It was really special. That was really, really cool. Probably one of the coolest things that I've ever had the chance at doing. And walking into 75,000 people and the Olympic logo or the Olympic rings, hanging over you, that was pretty cool.
Is the feeling different, getting ready to play Slovakia for a chance to get in the Final Four than Game 7? I'm sorry to ask that comparison, but I'm wondering what it was like.
No. I mean, I don't know, but I can only speak for myself. I prepare every game the same way, right? And every game for me is I want to be at my best, and maybe individuals are different that way, but I have that standard for myself. And going against Slovakia, it was a big game for us, but obviously we weren't able to finish that.
This team's got some great young players coming. Anaheim, this is going to be a tough stretch here for you. Here you got 3 games in 4 days, a couple of rising stars. It's an important matchup tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's not many that aren't from now on. We know that. We know, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. We know the position we're in. We got to win games. We got to bank in points and secure our spot in a playoff race. So good team. They've had a great year. They've taken big steps, so it's going to be a challenge.
Just one from me, Leon. As the captain of Team Germany, how did that opportunity challenge you?
I mean, every day is a challenge. I'm not the biggest fan of reading too much into the letters. I really do believe that, leadership is done by committee and Connor has been the captain. He's the face of our team, but he would probably say the same thing. We're all doing it together. We're all in the same boat. And it was a great experience. Very honored to be able to lead that group. And I wish it was obviously with a better ending.
Leon Draisaitl, following practice yesterday at the Honda Center, the Oilers will have a morning skate ahead of tonight's 8:30 puck drop against the Anaheim Ducks in LA tomorrow, and then Saturday afternoon in San Jose. Oilers power play continues to hum along, 31.4%. The bigger concern, though, is on the penalty kill, and it was leaky heading into the Olympic break, now down at 76.9%. Special teams for the Ducks, power play is not very good at 17.9%. PK's at 78.1. Leon was mentioning about the playoff scenarios and trying to solidify a playoff spot. And the Oilers, I mean, they could drop all the way down to wild card number 2 tonight. To be honest with you, if they lose tonight and some other teams win, they could go from the number 2 hole in the Pacific Division all the way down to wild card number 2, and then could possibly be just 2 points ahead of the LA Kings. So there's no room for dipping the toes in the water here to start out of this post-Olympic break for sure. When we come back, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet will be with us. Before that, though, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding, awswelding.ca. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
A lot of games on the hard court last night, including the Toronto Raptors losing close to the OKC Thunder, 116-107 the final from Scotiabank Arena. Elsewhere, Dallas beating Brooklyn 123-114. The Knicks lose to Cleveland 109-94. Celtics top the Suns from Phoenix 97-81. End of the nightcap, Orlando getting past the Lakers 110-109. In the final day before NHL action resuming, Team USA visiting the White House, celebrate their gold medal win from the Olympics, and President Trump saying that goaltender Connor Hellebuyck will be awarded the nation's highest civilian honor for the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his performance. Edmonton Oil Kings last night lose in an absolute goal fest from Rogers Place, 10-6 the final in favor of the Medicine Hat Tigers. And in the AJ last night, Drayton Valley losing at home to Whitecourt. Camrose falling down in Calgary 4-3. Spring training baseball, the Blue Jays comeback efforts come up just short against the Yankees, 8-7 the final from Florida. Elsewhere, Pirates beat the Red Sox 16-7. Orioles caught the Twins 10-5, and the other half of the Twins roster, they lose to the Rays 12-1. Coming up in hour 2 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and Michael Grange, also from Sportsnet, but covering the Toronto Raptors. I'm Brandon Douglas, that's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.ca.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59,900. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Karius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports. Sports 1440.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:01 in Edmonton, and time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Hey, fall in love with Buick for the month of February. You can lease a 2026 Buick Envision all-wheel drive with zero down and $265 bi-weekly. And that includes GST, by the way. Shop now at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
All right, bud. What's going on, man?
Just getting the first hour underway here. It's kind of been weird. We had no Eddie on Monday. Tuesdays we go co-host free. We got Schlemmer coming in later today. So
Okay, good. The lonely in there sounds like.
sometimes. Now, you know what? We've had some heated conversations in the last 3 days, to be honest with you. So
Okay.
we've talked about a number of things, and sometimes our listeners get very interested in it and get very interactive. So it's always good, Spec. It's always good.
Good.
You know
What's
all
the hot
about
topic here.
What was the hot topic? Well, yesterday I said something about the Oilers should kind of rip Kachuk's head off when they come here on March the 19th. And it's kind
I can't find a lot of people disagreeing with that in this town.
of, well, but that's the problem. It didn't just stay in this town. So whatever. That's the way she goes, and whatever.
I saw some of those guys. I saw some of the clips of those guys at the State of the Union last night.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about it, after they had that little meeting in the Oval Office, they got lunch and they got double burgers from McDonald's served to them.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because, they call it the Never Hungry League, and the food around the NHL is top notch. So these guys go there, they get Big Macs. And
Well, I don't even know if we got Big Macs. Yeah,
What's
I
that?
think it was just the double burgers.
the double cheeseburger. Well, Big Macs are expensive. It's a time of austerity. But then every coach I ever talk to says, you got to plan out your video sessions, because these guys, they don't want to sit in a video session for half an hour, right?
Mhm.
They want in, they want out. So and they rewarded with a State of the Union that it lasts 3 hours. Could you imagine those guys sitting in that meeting for 2.5, 3 hours, listening to Trump ramble on?
Yeah, no, I think how it worked was they just came down and then they left as soon as they were introduced. It was probably
Oh,
about
they
a
didn't
half
have to
hour.
stay. Good for them.
No, they walked in through the doors and just stood there. And some guys didn't even go, Spec. They were there. There was 20 guys that went for the Oval Office visit, and a lot of those guys left after after they had their double cheeseburgers.
Hey, good for them, man.
Well, we were
All right, let's talk hockey.
We were laughing, Spec, actually, because we were thinking it reminded us of, because we got Bubba Gump here and Forrest Gump, in that movie. He went to 3 presidential visits, and you remember all the ones, like he drank all the Dr. Pepper and he's in the bathroom and he sees all these pictures of JFK and Marilyn Monroe and all that. And, it's kind of what we were talking about. So anyway, let's talk hockey. So you were at practice yesterday, talked to a few guys, and Mangiapane, obviously, and Frederick. Maybe just to let our listeners know what you kind of got from discussing things with them yesterday.
Well, I mean, here's 2 guys looking for a footing, right? And they're different guys. Like, I don't think there's anything Mangiapane can do at this point that's not going to end up seeing him get traded. Both guys went home, spent time at home during the break, and just kind of tried to clear their head, went home, saw family. Mangiapane brought their little baby home, and they got baptized there in front of all the, parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and all that stuff. So really both guys just tried to clear their head during the break and come back, try to resurrect something out of what's been a brutal season for both of them. But I mean, Frederick's not going anywhere. He's staying, but Mangiapane probably almost for sure is going. So, there are 2 guys showing up here trying to get something out of a season that hasn't gone very well for either of them yet. And we'll have to see what, if the Oilers can resurrect this thing a little bit, because right now that July 1st hasn't been too pretty.
What did you get your sense, just by the feeling around Mangiapane? And as you said, I mean, this is nothing new here. This has been going on for months.
Yeah.
But is there, I know you had that, the quote about, I'd like to stay. I'd like to try to turn it around here, but I don't know if it's possible for him. No.
Ask a player why the puck's not going in, and it's not like he's not working hard. He brought his gear home with him to Toronto. He says, I skated, I worked out. He says, I came back to Edmonton, I skated some more and worked out. I was in great shape when we fired up the camp again. It's hard to I've never met a hockey player that really exactly knows what to do. Trent Frederick, he's still looking for a role on this team after 58 games, right? He's still searching for something. That when the coach needs something to happen, he looks down the bench and sees Frederick and says, hey, that's my guy right there. Go out and do it. He doesn't – is he a 4th-line winger? Is he a center? Is he supposed to stand up for teammates? Is he a defensive guy? Does he kill a penalty? What does he do? He doesn't even really know around here what he does. He's trying to be a reliable player, but, he's got 3 points all year. Mm-hmm. So I guess I just say to you, Kev, there's just some confusion for both players on how it's gone so bad for them here in Edmonton. And I'm not telling you that they're blaming other people, because they're not. They're just – I'm not sure they have an answer. Either guy, after sitting down with both guys, I'm not sure either guy has a real answer on why they're in the mess they're in 58 games into this season.
And, man, this July 1st it's killed this team for 2 years now. And it's in your article too, Spec, right? So
how good would you be if it's basically $7.5 million worth of players. And I know they signed Frederick right before July 1st, but whatever, he was a UFA. But he was, to me, in my eyes, Frederick is a July 1st signing, right? You decided to extend him 8 years before he hit the market. So, it's fair to look back and say, if you had signed 2 players on July 1st, if Jeff Jackson would have signed 2 players that really, really made this team better, instead of Skinner and Arvidsson, would they have won a cup? Maybe.
Yeah.
Right. And here we are again in the next season, and you got 2 guys that you spent $7.5 million, dollars on here. And we're going into the stretch run, and Frederick was a healthy scratch last game, and Mangiapane, I believe, the game before. So, how much better would your team be if your management had done a better job on the last 2 July 1st? It's a fair question to ask.
Well, I mean, for Frederick too, mostly it was about the term of the contract. I think a lot of people figured that Mangiapane would be a whole lot better than what he was. I think it went back to the 2022 season with the 35 goals, right? And everyone's going, well, man, if we can just get 20 out of this guy, that would be unbelievable. And Frederick, you saw 17 and 18 goal seasons in Boston. I don't know where it fell apart for guys like that, especially for Frederick. And maybe, do you think it was starting on that first line where it was, he just got so out of sync when he started with Connor and Leon at the very beginning of the year, and he wasn't a fit, and he was there too long, and he could never get it back on track?
I don't know. I mean, that was such a long time ago. I'll say to you that, sure, was that a mistake? Yeah, that was a mistake. And I think that I never thought that was going to last.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the foot speed to play with those guys. So, but that was so long ago. It is incumbent upon, it's incumbent upon the player to find his way. It's incumbent upon the player to help the team and to find a spot and to grab hold of something and to produce. I don't care what's going on. I mean, how many games has Frederick played? He's played like
54,
50 games or something. Over 50 games, he's got 3 points. Like, that's just not. There's got to be, like, that's 3 points in 50 games.
55, right? Spec.
Yeah, so we can't just look outside for people to blame for this. This is the players, an NHL player, he's a 27-year-old NHL veteran who's had 17, 18 goal seasons. He's not just snake bit either. It's not like he's getting a whole bunch of chances and not going in. He's not getting any chances.
I've been saying it for a long time, Spec. It's the guys and people disagree with me. A lot of people. It's if you're playing 7 minutes a night or 8 minutes a night, you probably deserve that. But it's your job to turn the coach's eyes and go, oh man, he's playing way better than that. I need to put him at 9 and then 10, and then upward pressure. It forces everybody to play better.
Well, every team is a competition inside the team. You're all wearing the same jersey, but you're competing. You're competing for spots. I asked Chris Knobloch yesterday about, the sort of the balance between how much of this is on talking about Mangiapane and Frederick coming out of the break. Let's say that from an Oilers fan's perspective, you hope that they both come out of this break and they're rested and mentally rested and ready to turn their season around. Here we go, boys, right? And for that to happen, how much of that is the coach's responsibility to sort of set up a situation where that can happen? Mm-hmm. And Knobloch said, it's my job to recognize where I can find these guys some traction and footing. And that's for sure. It's his job to help in that happening. But he also said, when you just hand opportunity to guys, what you're doing is taking it away from other guys who've probably earned it more, right? There's a finite amount of ice time. And if you give a whole bunch to the guy that's got 3 points when he really hasn't earned it, you're taking it away from someone who likely has. And that's not good for the team dynamic either.
Exactly, Spec. And that's and then everyone bitches and complains that the guys that are playing well get too much time. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's up to the player to force the coaches to play better than the guy above you. Like, those two are a good example because they're both wingers. They're probably showed up in this town. Mangiapane was a second-line winger, and Frederick was a third-line winger. Mm-hmm. And if Mangiapane's not having a good year, Frederick's got a guy right above him that he could pass by, that he could outshine and outplay and take his job.
Yeah.
And he hasn't, right? He hasn't.
Rest of the roster specs. So we'll see, obviously, Savoy, like the paper transaction, whatever you want to call it. And then obviously with Henrique and everything there.
Yeah, that's right. By all with Kapanen, they're going to have 13 forwards here, but Kapanen supposedly isn't going to play. So, the active 22 players with Regula and Kapanen. Now, Regula, where is he? Is he down?
He's still down. Yeah,
he's still down. So 21 with Kapanen is, I believe, what they're going to have here.
Yeah.
So really, the question becomes McDavid, who was expected in last night. I'm going to the morning skate this morning. I assume we'll see him there. I thought he would practice yesterday. His travel plans changed. He didn't get in till last night. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know that he arrived. I haven't seen the whites of his eyes here. So I think if he skates and they only have 12 forwards, including him, I can't see him not playing. What about you?
I think he goes tonight. I mean, maybe he's limited in some certain situations. Maybe absolutely no PK or whatever. Figure it out from there. Does Roslovic go into the right wing spot with Leon and Podkolzin then, or what?
Well, probably in terms of instead of Kapanen, I would think so. They did not run lines yesterday at practice, so I'm not sure. I'll go to the skate this morning. I assume they'll run lines there, and they're not. Listen, they had an Olympic break, but they're not going to rebuild their whole team. I don't see why it'll be Nuge, McDavid, and unless there's a change because they're going to actively limit Connor McDavid's ice time, and that's possible, then they might change something up. But if there's no reason not to come back with relatively the same lines you had. They didn't make any transactions here.
Well, as I said, Connor's killed more penalties in the last little while, so take that off his plate for tonight or even tomorrow, whatever. That takes a couple of minutes out, or depending on how many penalties are called, obviously. And then, just limit certain situations. So, I mean, for them, those guys, when they play $1.45 on the power play spec, those are easy minutes for them for the most part. They're easy minutes.
Yeah, and fun minutes, and they want those minutes for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, because they never get hit. They have the puck for the most part on their stick. They're, with the exception of Connor, when he's circling back, he's not skating at full speed at all. So, I mean,
he only carries it in at full speed, and then listen, for sure, those guys can play power play time. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on. I'm a little concerned about Kapanen. He helps this team quite a bit when he's playing, but he hasn't played enough this year.
While we were speaking here, Spec, Chris Johnson reporting that Sidney Crosby expected to miss at least 4 weeks with a lower body injury. 4 weeks.
So there's a month for the Penguins who are hanging on to a playoff spot.
So not only that, but that tells you that they knew this likely yesterday, hence how they're looking at making the Kulak trade, because might as well get some currency while you can for him, because I would imagine if other GMs are going, okay, so maybe you're not getting as much for a guy at that point. Maybe that's why they struck yesterday before most people knew what this was.
Possibly. Like, I guess if I play devil's advocate with you, Kev, I'd say that the closer you get to the deadline, if you got a Kulak out there, there's probably more teams, looking to lining up for him. But nonetheless, I think, who doesn't like that trade? They got Kulak as a bit of a throw-in on the last trade, and they move him for a second. And Girard, I don't mind Girard as an offensive-minded D-man, and another second-round pick at Dubas. Dubas is having a pretty good run in Pittsburgh right now.
Not bad. And I mean, Colorado saves 2.25 on the cap as well.
Yeah, so good for everybody. They're all happy, and you know what? The Colorado's a cup threat, man. You got to load up to get through that Central this year, and Kulak will help them for sure. We all know in Edmonton how his game goes north come playoff time.
Up favorite.
Yeah. Well, they got to get through Minnesota. I'm not so sure how Dallas is going to be. Minnie's a pretty good team, and they're not done dealing yet either.
Yeah. That's too bad for Crosby. Really, really too bad for Crosby, because
this is an example, a good example of the trepidation that NHL owners have, right?
I mean,
you just lost your franchise player. It's probably going to cost you a playoff spot. So that's going to cost you at least, 3 gates, actual genuine cash in the owner's pocket for a team that hasn't made the playoffs much lately.
Easy 10 mil.
Well, yeah, and I know the owners are rich and all that, but it's nonetheless, right? Everybody knows what a berth in the playoff does for your team, not just this year, but next. It sells more tickets over the summer. It stokes interest in your team. Like, for a team that was playoff bound that maybe now isn't because of the Olympics, it's a big blow for Pittsburgh. And if knock wood here, I'm saying knock on wood as I say it, if McDavid came home missing a month from the Olympics, how would we be looking at the Olympic experience here in Edmonton?
Well, everyone would say it stinks.
Yeah, exactly. Or Draisaitl or somebody. So you got to look at it. These owners spend a lot of money and they put themselves in a position and they build and build and build, and then they give their product to somebody else and hope that it comes back intact 2 weeks later. Well, guess what? Rantanen's hurt in Dallas.
And that's a couple weeks for sure.
Right? How do you think that's going over down in Dallas?
I mean, Kevin Fiala was having a pretty decent year as well.
Right? You get Panarin, and now you lose Fiala, and he's done for the season. So those are 3 important guys to their teams, man. That's not much fun.
Yeah. Spec, good stuff. Enjoy SoCal. Are you okay tomorrow morning, or what's your travel?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, tomorrow morning. No skate in LA, so I'll be sitting here just waiting to go to the gym here, Kev. You're keeping me from my workout,
What are you going to do in there? Huh?
Oh.
Like I bet you sit in one of the seated bicycle ones right by the TV so you can just watch some kind of replays from last night's sports shows.
No, I'm a treadmill guy.
Oh, yeah.
I sit next to the treadmill and watch other people use it.
Yeah, you sit next to it. Yeah. Yeah. I see you as that guy that's all of a sudden it takes off and you spin off the end and fly into the back row of the other machines.
Hey, look, buddy. I'm just a guy my body's a temple. I'm just trying to keep it in great shape as always.
Sounds good, Spec. Talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy the game tonight. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet on the mark, powered by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This truck's for you. Check them out at northgategm.com. When we come back, Michael Grange will check in, talk a little Raptors B-ball on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We were streaming on YouTube X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Okay, how about you give us your star winger for a bag of pucks? What if I throw in some Will Hawk beef jerky?
Yourself a trade.
With Will Hawk Beef Jerky on their side, the Alberta teams definitely have an unfair advantage this trade deadline. Pick up some today and use it for trade leverage in your fantasy league.
No way, man. It's way too good.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win trades with salad.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement. Doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Local Quality Market. Your next dinner is ready with Local Quality Market's gourmet meals. Choose from over 200 chef-prepared meals. Shop local at loca.ca.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
To the big program, 8:22 in Edmonton, and time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing. Draining clogged pipes like 3-pointers for all your plumbing needs. Go to mrrooter.ca as we welcome back Michael Grange from Rogers Sportsnet, covers the Toronto Raptors. Good morning, Michael. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
I'll tell you what, Michael, I thought, that game last night against the SGA, this OKC Thunder, when it was 101-101, and you were there, man, I thought for sure that the Raptors had a chance to pull this one out. Just maybe what happened down the stretch last night.
Well, they absolutely had a chance. I mean, tie game, 4 minutes left, and hadn't come back from down 24 with a minute left in the third quarter. Yeah. But they just kind of lost a little bit of focus. There were some turnovers in there that Oklahoma City both forced, and the Raptors both kind of made it a little easier for them to force just by kind of funneling the ball and getting away from the kind of ball movement. It didn't help that Scotty Barnes left the game for 3 minutes with a thigh injury.
Yeah.
And full credit to Oklahoma City. Like, you mentioned, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's staying out. That was his 10th game out. He'll probably be out for another 2 or 3 with an abdominal injury. And they're also out Jalen Williams, who's first team All-NBA last year. First team defense and All-NBA. And even AJ Mitchell, who's a really good kind of creator for them. And absent those guys, the Thunder have struggled a little bit because they don't have a guy to initiate offense and kind of score in tough situations, it seemed. And then Casey Wallace has really emerged as that. And he scored 3 straight layups. The Raptors really had a tough time containing him all night. And Montreal's Lou Dort hit a couple of key shots too. So it was just a case of, a team that's definitely shorthanded, but understands what it takes to win basketball games, has a really physical brand of defense, and they kind of clamped in the last 4 minutes. And the Raptors, who are still kind of figuring out how to manage against, the elevated level of physicality and defense that good teams bring in key minutes of a game, and it kind of flipped on its head.
Because of that depleted OKC lineup, Michael, how big of a lost opportunity would you consider this for a Raptors team last night?
Yeah, it was a big one. I mean, because the Raptors have struggled all year against good teams, when they've only got 4 wins against teams that are currently in the top 10 in the NBA. I think the Raptors are 11th. 3 of those wins have come against Cleveland earlier in the year when Cleveland was really struggling, and 1 was against Oklahoma City back a month ago when they were still really shorthanded, but they did have Shea in the lineup. So the opportunity to kind of sneak out a win against a team that's depleted. I mean, OKC's basically playing a little bit over 500 basketball the last month and a bit. It's a missed opportunity because, tonight, for example, the Raptors will be hosting the Spurs. The Spurs are probably the best team in the NBA right now. They're have the third best record, but they're coming in winning 9 straight. If you go by form, it doesn't look good against Toronto. And it would have been nice to have that one in the bank last night. And whatever happens tonight's kind of gravy. So, that's when you look at the Raptors as they kind of push for what should be, a playoff position in the East. They're 5th now. They got a 2.5 game gap on maybe 3 games on 7th place, which is the play-in tournament. It's really going to come down to, can they take advantage of opponents that are either kind of banged up or are have been struggling this year, because when you look at they still got a couple of games against Detroit, they've got a game against Denver, they've got they still have a good chunk of games against some quality opponents, and their record against those opponents just is not good. So they need to secure the wins that are there for them for the taking. And the Raptors outplayed the Thunder for the first quarter and most of the fourth, and really it was the last 3 minutes of the game and kind of the middle part of the game that really cost them.
Michael Grange from Rogers Sportsnet, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. How much of a bummer was it for local basketball fans not to see SGA? You mentioned another Canadian there, Luke Dort, with 12 points, but just a real bummer, I would think, for local basketball fans not to see one of the best ever Canadians play.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of, Mark Daigneault, the Thunder's head coach, he said last night, look, I asked him, is it a little bit of a blessing given how much basketball SGA has had to play in the last 3 years, going to the World Cup with Canada, going to the Olympics with Canada, going to the NBA Finals last year, going to the second round of playoffs the year before that. It's been a pretty steady drum of high expectations, high performance competition. And so having a little reprieve here at this point. You should be back in time for the playoffs and all of that. Is that a bad thing? And then, Mark Daigneault kind of allowed that, look, it's not ideal, but you got to make the best of it. But he said, look, Shea wants to play games, and he knows. He says, he definitely wanted to play last night. He loves coming to Toronto, and of course, he's from Hamilton, and it's a great opportunity for him to connect with friends, family, and all that kind of thing. So a little bit unfortunate he couldn't play, and certainly for fans who only get to see him here once a year, a little bit heartbreaking, I'm sure. At least in this case, you knew sort of at least a week or 2 weeks ago that it was like it happened. It wasn't, the Raptors have other situations where players have come in that, they've either been hurt or sat kind of more or less at the last minute. So, so hopefully, but the fans, you buy those tickets well in advance and you pay a little extra for them. So it's a little bit of a heartbreak when you can't make it.
For sure. Michael Grange with us on Sports 1440. So, the Raptors' struggles against top-tier teams has been well documented. Just 3 of their 4 wins, 4 wins against top 10 teams, but 3 of them against Cleveland. And that was before the Cavs are what they are now and just look dynamite yesterday against the New York Knicks. What does this team have to do to get over the hump, Michael, in your estimation, to, try to balance that ledger a bit more against some of the top level teams? Or can they?
Yeah, can they is kind of the question. I think they've shown that, in stretches they can defend and they can cause problems for some of these teams. I think having Jakob Poeltl back and healthy matters because typically, the better teams have quality size. There's very few of them that don't. And so there's been situations this year where Poeltl's been hurt and, you're just kind of overwhelmed by, the Raptors just don't have that next big man to match up with whoever it might be in these top teams. So having him back and healthy, they're still managing his minutes. He didn't play last night because they don't want him playing back-to-back, so he'll play tonight against Wembanyama and the Spurs. That should help. But I think what really shows is as these really good teams do tighten up defensively, they get physical, they get into the ball. The Raptors kind of struggle in that they don't have just on the roster many, if any, players that can really punch the paint, that can really blow through that initial layer of defense and cause a defense to collapse, and then you get into your rotations. And then if and when they do that, they're one of the poorest shooting teams in the league. So they can do everything right. They can move the ball. They can create a mismatch. They can swing the ball to an open shooter, but they just don't have enough. They don't really have any sort of shooters that other teams panic about. And, the best teams usually have kind of 2 at least. So so they've just got some structural challenges on their roster that get exposed against quality teams I predict will be exposed in the playoffs. But to their credit, they have a very clear style of play, and they have a real buy-in to commit to playing it. And that's allowed them to be successful against, sort of your mid-tier and lower tier teams. And you gotta walk before you can run. And when you look at this team where it was last year, they're definitely have made great strides, but there's a level or 2 for them to get to.
Rogers Sportsnet's Michael Grange with us on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. You mentioned the Spurs in town tonight, so you talk about going from the frying pan into the fire. This is it. As you mentioned, you think the Spurs are maybe the best team right now. Just a thought on this matchup, a back-to-back with the Raptors, and maybe a 2-parter as well. Do you also think maybe the Spurs could catch OKC in the West?
Yeah, tough situation for the Raptors. The Toronto played San Antonio early in the year, and they were kind of overwhelmed. And really, Wembanyama was the reason they were overwhelmed. I think especially for Eastern Conference teams who only see him once or twice a year, it's just so shocking to sort of play against a guy who's so mobile, so long, so clever. It just really, and I do remember watching the Raptors. I've seen the Raptors play Wembanyama a couple of times in person, and you really see like professional players like just kind of look confused and discombobulated when they kind of get in the paint and he's there and they don't really know what to do. So I think if you play him 4 times like you do in the Western Conference, I mean, you probably get a little more comfort level with it. But the fact is, it's a very good team, San Antonio is, but he is an exceptional talent, an exceptional player. And, I think it's going to be a very tough matchup for tonight for the Raptors. So we'll see. I mean, I think it'd be fun to watch, but it might not be a great outcome. And as for your second part of your question, can the Spurs catch OKC? I think it's 2.5 games, if not 3 now. It looks like OKC is getting healthier sooner than later. So I think they should be able to hang on to that lead. But I think the bigger question is can OKC can the Spurs win an NBA title? Can they kind of emerge from the West and end up in the NBA Finals? And you would never say so for a team that has a 0 playoff experience. There's just no precedent for that. Almost literally, I think, in NBA history. And but I would still say this is a team that they've got some flaws. They've some of their primary ball handlers are just not very good shooters, and that usually creeps up on you when teams really begin to tighten up their game plans. But again, Wembanyama is just such an exception, and even when you put him in comparison to the LeBron James or Nikola Jokic or Giannis Antetokounmpo, or go on down your list of the true greats. I'll throw Shea in there too, obviously. Typically, those players kind of have a learning curve, and it's dealing with playoff level defenses, and sometimes their rosters around them when they're very young in their careers aren't good enough to kind of help them, and so that's where the stumbling often comes. But the Spurs and Wembanyama may go through that, but where he is exceptional to even those exceptional players is his superpower is his defensive presence. And he's only going to get better defensively because he's going to understand the league better and his overall, knowledge will complement his physical ability even more. But the baseline of his physical ability and where he is now as a defender is so high. Like he's borderline the best defensive player ever, probably already, that I think it kind of changes the rules a little bit. And so I think there is a scenario where if things break just right, the Spurs could win an NBA title this year, and it will be because Wembanyama can just bring a level of difficulty for opposing teams defensively that's almost unprecedented.
Yeah. One last one for you, Michael. You mentioned Scotty Barnes, and I saw him just hobble for a couple of moments yesterday. Is he going to be okay for tonight on a back-to-back? You know how sometimes things can tighten up overnight and how that goes.
Yeah, he's listed as questionable. Banged his thigh against, I think, Isaiah Hartenstein's knee, and it's kind of looked like the right side of the kind of lower right part of his thigh, just above his knee. Definitely seemed a bit sore when I saw him in the locker room last night. And you're absolutely right. Like you wake up in the morning and it could be a lot more uncomfortable than it is when you're still kind of warmed up and the blood's flowing. So he's questionable. So game time decision. If he's not in the lineup, I think it's really going to be tough for the Raptors. He's only missed 2 games this year. He's been super durable. And without him, the Raptors get really small, really fast, even if they do have Pirtle in the lineup.
Yeah. As always, great insight, good stuff, Michael. Really appreciated. Enjoy tonight's game. Should be interesting and another great kind of like star kind of game for Raptors fans to see, even though they missed SGA yesterday. As always, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's Michael Grange from Rogers Sportsnet. Once again, it was 101-101 with 4 minutes left, and the Raptors really came back after trailing in the third quarter, but just could not get it done. 116-107 was the final score last night. Raptors 1-10 versus the top 6 teams in the league. And again, they just haven't been able to get over that hump. So that'll be an interesting game tonight with the Spurs and Wemby in town. That was the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, the number 1 overall pick in your fantasy plumbing pool. That's mrrooter.ca. Great text from David Whitetail regarding Mark Spector's exercise program, his regiment at the gym today in SoCal. David Whitetail texts in, standing on the treadmill in rollerblades. One of my old members' jokes. And then he said he knew it was time up when the ashtray was full. That's just solid. And Dave, we got to get a new handle for you, Dave. I think we got to put Dave at Goose Hummock. We'll have to change that up, as our buddy Dave Nelson's heading from Whitetail to Goose Hummock, part of the CCT. So pretty cool. And I mean, that track at Goose Hummock, played it a lot more than at Whitetail, I would say. Duke, you would have played Goose way more than Whitetail, or not? Because your buddies at Whitetail.
I've played I've actually only played each course, I think, twice ever.
Okay.
So they're kind of even in that sense, but I haven't played Whitetail. I didn't get out there last summer, and Goose. That was the first time I went to Goose last summer. I got out there twice. So,
like I remember when when Goose Hummock was first built, and again, a lot of the other courses on the perimeter of town, those are like they're old for you, but they're newer in the sense when you go back. Goose Hummock was one of the first courses that was built on the perimeter of town, if you want to call it that. Everyone had, the inside courses, and there weren't as many courses, not even close to what they are now. But when Goose Hummock was built, everyone was like, wow, because all the water and the narrow fairways and how tough it was. And, it was an expectation to lose, take a dozen balls because you're going to lose them all, right?
Oh, yeah.
But Dave's going to be heading out to the Goose. Benjamin Pierce reporting while we were conducting that interview that Tampa Bay Lightning have announced that head coach John Cooper will not be behind the bench tonight or tomorrow due to the passing of his father. So I'm sure he'll be getting a lot of condolences. He missed some time before the Olympic break, attending to things there with his family. And I mean, couldn't imagine how much that would have been wearing on a guy behind the bench for Team Canada. With your dad probably not feeling 100 per before he would have even went to Italy. When we come back, maybe we'll hear from Coach Chris Knobloch and his media availability yesterday following practice in Anaheim. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440. AM Radio, we're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
There's a lot of great seasons in Alberta. Hockey season, harvest season, the winter season, and the even more winter season. But GS Construction is already preparing for our next great season, because while the city slows down, we plan ahead. Projects, people, and pipelines. Everything starts taking shape for another strong year underground. We're also getting ready for our next hiring season in March. We want new people who want to build something that lasts. For more on us and to apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
The Hockey Super League is proud to launch its 9th season, delivering independent, borderless hockey. This year, over 125 teams will compete across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and for the first time ever, Colorado, USA, with showcase style action, cross-province rivalries, and a strong commitment to player development. The HSL is the premier destination for families seeking balance and athletes chasing the next level. The Hockey Super League. Hockey without limits. For athletes born in 2013 to 2018, visit hockeysuperleague.com to learn more.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Area Adjusted and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
This year, instead of a short winter getaway from the cold, what if you took a permanent winter getaway from your hair loss? Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, inviting you to come plan your winter transformation. I've helped thousands of Edmonton men and women get their hair and their confidence back. Many of them preferred the winter. Cooler temperatures are great for recovery, and winter hats can keep everything discreet. Trips are nice, but this winter, choose to invest in your vessel. Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:45 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick with you here on a Wednesday morning on Sports 1440 AM radio. So glad you could spend some time with us this morning. In case you missed it, it was announced, about 45 minutes ago, not quite. Sidney Crosby, Pittsburgh Penguins captain of the Canadian Olympic team, injured against the Czechs in the quarterfinals in a hit by Radko Gudas, is going to miss a minimum of 4 weeks. I hate that word when they say minimum, man. And what do we got left here in the regular season of the NHL? 7 weeks. So the Pittsburgh Penguins sitting pretty when it comes to a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference right now. Number 2 in the Metropolitan Division at 70 points, but the Islanders are just a point back at 69. Pittsburgh's got 2 games in hand, however. The good thing for the Penguins is that, the other teams in the Met, not exactly screaming hell when it comes to hunting them down. Columbus, because of their recent surge, winners of 7 straight, have vaulted to 65 points. The Capitals are at 65. So, could one of those 2 teams catch Pittsburgh without Sidney Crosby? Absolutely. No question about that. Can the Penguins hang on without Sidney Crosby for, if they say, 4 weeks or so? Absolutely. They've got enough guys there that could, if they can play 500 hockey-ish, they can still be in the mix here. But it's really interesting now how the trade deadline works here coming up March the 6th. As mentioned, we talked about it all morning. Oilers in Anaheim to take on the Ducks tonight. Oilers come in with a record of 28-22 and 8. The Ducks are 30 wins, 23-3. And the Ducks are right on the Oilers' heels. They are at 63 points, one back of the Oilers with 2 games in hand. So you can see how big of a game this is. Yesterday, the Oilers practiced in Anaheim, California at the Honda Center. And following practice, the head coach of the hockey team, Chris Knobloch, had some of these comments to the media.
Chris, let's start with a couple housekeeping items. Do you have a timeline on when Connor McDavid is expected back with the team?
Yeah, he's supposed to be flying into Anaheim tonight.
And Kasperi Kapanen, is it still expected that he won't be playing tomorrow?
It's expected, a slight chance that he is, but most likely he's not. I think it's best to give him a little more time and get ready. And the timeline is probably Saturday.
Leon was talking about how much urgency there is with just 24 games left and a team like the Ducks and the way that they play. What are you expecting to see from your team and the level of urgency you want to see from them?
Absolutely. Just as Leon said, we've only got 24 games left, and we are right on the line of making or not making playoffs, and especially this road trip. There's not a stretch of games that are probably more important than they are right now. They're playing the California teams, so Anaheim being one of them. I believe they're healthy and they'll be ready to play, and it'll be an important game for us tomorrow.
What are the parameters around how much or whether Connor plays tomorrow? Is it his call? Is it everyone's call? Do we, have we figured it out already?
We had some discussions in January about the possibility of what happens when the tournament ends, when he fly back, how he feels about coming back and playing immediately. I think a lot of it has to do with how he's feeling, injury-wise, health-wise, energy-wise, probably the biggest factor, and having that decision. So he's still traveling, so that obviously there's a lot up in the air still, and nothing's been ruled out.
Is it hard for you to envision Connor McDavid sitting in the press box tomorrow night watching?
Yeah, I know Connor is a very competitive guy, and for him to come, but also probably different if it was just a single. But with the fact that we're coming in and playing back-to-back and all the travel and the emotions of the Olympics, so we'll make that decision tomorrow.
Jen Frederick, these breaks are usually, sometimes a guy can come out of these breaks and it can help him, right? That would probably make you real happy if he could, find a way, find a role. You could help him find a role. What needs to happen? How can you play a part in getting this guy's feet in the ground?
You see a lot of the time after breaks, or just this is almost like a new season, and you see players who've had terrible regular seasons and then playoffs. Everyone starts playoffs and everyone's got zeros, and they just find a different gear and they play really well. So treating this as a starting point for him. He's looked really good in practices, and I believe that he'll be a big part of our success down this stretch.
And Mangiapane, same thing. I guess as a coach, my point would be, do you have to, they're looking for a footing. Do you have to try to find one for them too? Is this a team effort?
It absolutely is a team effort, but often when you give a guy an opportunity, you're also taking an opportunity or something that somebody's worked for, and you're taking away from them. So, when an injury happens, that's an excellent opportunity for a player to step up and get a chance. But if it's not an injury, it's tough giving them. And yes, you have to give them some opportunities for them to step up and find a game and find a opportunity to contribute to the team. But you also got to be careful not sacrificing somebody else that's been playing well or been doing all the right things.
The captain injury would then open the door a little bit anyway, right? If he's not going to play for a couple of games, that would
absolutely. Yeah. Yes, it would.
That's head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, Chris Knobloch. Duke, man, you were didn't get much of a heads up there.
No, I was totally zoned out in my own world, getting some things lined up here for the next hour. And then all of a sudden I clicked back over to the audio and I was like, oh, this is over right now. So get back in the saddle, Kev.
Yeah.
You weren't even sitting down.
No, I wasn't. I was texting a guy from hockey, and I was like, oh, all of a sudden, better get on the thing. And I should have been sitting down too for Josh and for the stream and everything like that. But I apologize. 833-401-1440. Our buddy Blair comes in. Blair's Mr. Weisenheimer. He comes in all the time. With his texts and his great comedic aspect here, and it's all in good fun, obviously. I was talking about Sidney Crosby. Blair says, good thing you explained that it's Sidney Crosby that plays for Pittsburgh and captain the Canadian team, and not Sid Crosby who works at Home Hardware. I replied to him, good one, Blair. Is there a chance you could slide down to the mall tonight? There's a slot open at the Comedy Club. Yeah, he says, Yuck still in business? He'll be there. It's not Yuck, Sid. It's just the Comedy Club, isn't it? Or, it's right across from.
Couldn't tell you.
It's Comedy Club. Josh is shaking his head. Yeah. So,
I knew it wasn't Yuck.
Yeah,
but...
Yuck. It was years ago. It was that. I
okay.
Think. Yeah.
Comedy Strip.
That about Josh. The Comedy Strip.
Josh does his every Friday night improv set, one-man show.
Now
with props.
Do you think, Josh, you could do a couple of jokes on stage? Do you think you could handle some stand-up comedy?
Well, a couple of jokes. I could definitely do a couple of jokes on stage, but like stand-up comedy, absolutely not.
No?
I'm not funny enough.
Like, are you a joke teller?
Yeah, but I tell terrible jokes, and that's sort of like the bit in the friend group is, oh, I got a joke for you. There's 2 muffins sitting in an oven. One muffin says, hey, it's kind of hot in here. The other muffin says, oh my God, a talking muffin. My friends hate that joke. I think I've been telling it for a dozen years now.
Oh,
simply because it pisses them off.
I'm not going to say it on air, but well, I can't, Duke. I could, to be honest with you, because it's a very clean joke. But I told it to my mother-in-law on her birthday the other day. And I thought it was quite funny. And actually, the father-in-law, old man Baker, thought it was exceptionally funny. Almost fell out of his rocking
So you
chair.
just said you could tell it, but you won't tell it.
It's not that bad. But, I mean, this isn't the Comedy Strip.
Right.
I'll tell you what, Duke, let me think about it, and at some point, maybe I'll pass it on to our listeners. I'll tell you what, Duke. Okay, you're the producer, baby. I'll tell you, at some break here, and you can give me the A-OK. That way, I just cleared it with the producer.
Yeah, that's all it takes. First time ever you clear something with me before saying it on air.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Here's a text I wanted to get to Greater Man Jay, and this is this is a really great text, and it's from the heart. Greater Man Jay, good morning, boys. Hearing that Mangiapane went back home to be with his newborn baby made me feel guilty about giving him the gears in such a hockey-sensitive market. I think we all forget at times that these guys are fathers, sons, husbands, regardless if they have a bad contract or not, and they're playing poorly or whatever. It's true, and man, like there is so much hatred out there, so much hatred, and so much, players that aren't going well. I mean, this town is on them. This town is on them, and that's the way it goes. So, top of the hour, David Schlemko will be with us, our co-host on Wednesdays for Cougar Paint and Collision. Also coming up in that 9 o'clock hour, we'll head down to Colorado and Ryan Boulding from NHL.com. Avs with the big trade yesterday, acquiring the former Oiler, Brett Kulak. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for all your moves and your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Breaking news out of the past hour. Pittsburgh Penguins captain Sidney Crosby placed on injured reserve, expected to miss a minimum of 4 weeks with lower body injury he sustained playing against Czechia in quarterfinals at the Olympics. Penguins currently sitting second in the Metro Division, have not made the playoffs since 2022. Yesterday, Team USA gold medal winning club honored at the White House down at the State of the Union address, and President Trump announcing that goaltender Connor Hellebuck, for his efforts in the Olympics, will be awarded the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Last night from Rogers Place, it was a goal fest. The Oil Kings fall to the Medicine Hat Tigers 10-6 the final in the AJ. Camrose losing down in Calgary, and Drayton Valley falls at home to Whitecourt. In the association, 11 games total, including the Raptors, was in a close one to the Thunder, 116-107. Elsewhere, the Hawks beat the Wizards 119-98. The Bucks get past the Heat 128-117, and the Timberwolves beat Portland 124-121. Spring training action from the Grapefruit League continuing. Blue Jays comeback efforts come up short against the Yankees 8-7 the final there. Elsewhere, Pirates beat the Red Sox 16-7, and the Orioles double up on half of the Twins team 10-5. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Ryan Boulding from NHL.com covering the Colorado Avalanche, and our Wednesday co-host, former NHL defenseman David Schlemko. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League sports season is underway. The JPHL offers elite athletic and academic opportunities across multiple AAA divisions. With over 55 teams, the JPHL is redefining the family experience by making elite hockey financially accessible. All games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV, featuring a showcase-style schedule and competitive matchups. Learn why the JPHL is Western Canada's fastest-growing elite hockey development stream at juniorprospectshockeyleague.com. Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. I'm heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother have the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Center. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Center has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Greger is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Greger rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
The weather doesn't care about your shift or your schedule. Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts let you battle back against the ever-changing elements. Carhartt's durable, water-repellent technology lets light rain beat up and roll right off. Layer up and stay on the job longer without getting drenched. Get your Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations.
Job site, workwear, tough different jobs.
Considering an EV, Subaru is the right choice. Discover their latest electric vehicle innovations, starting with the brand new Solterra, in stock and ready to test drive. Or the Trail Seeker, an EV at its core, a Subaru at heart, and built for adventure. Or the uncharted This Sporty, all-new small compact SUV brings new levels of driving enjoyment to the all-electric space. Right now, Subaru is offering interest rates as low as 0.49%. Welcome to electric. Welcome to Subaru.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Right, welcome back to the big program, 9:02 in Edmonton, and time to welcome in our Wednesday co-host for Cougar Paint and Collision. Our family helping your family for over 40 years, part of the NAPA Certified Auto Body Program. Check them out at cougarcollision.com as we welcome in David Schlemko, the former NHLer. Good morning, Schlemmer.
Morning, KK.
It's a kind of a weird week with everything that went on since we saw you last.
It has been.
Man, with all the Olympic Games and, so close on Sunday. Did you get up right off the hop on Sunday? Or did
Absolutely.
You?
Up at 5:30. Ready to go.
Yeah. And it's so close. And I mean, Canada was so good and played
so
better. Played better than the Americans. But
they did everything they could. I mean, it's hard to imagine them playing a better 60 than they did. I mean, I thought it could have been a 6-1, 7-1 game, maybe like 2 or 3 for the U.S. I mean, Benner made some good saves, but I think overall, there's no question who's a better team out there. Anyone knows anything about hockey watching that game, they're not saying, oh, the U.S. has finally caught Canada in hockey.
Yeah.
They're thinking, like, lucky to win that one.
I look at it like that as well, Schlemmer, and also in the sense because what happened on Monday, we had so many people texting in and saying, okay, well, the roster construction was flawed.
I've heard nothing but that as well, and it drives me nuts. I can't wait for the NHL to start tonight just to get all the Canadian armchair GMs off my back. It's crazy, man.
The roster that was assembled was good enough, more than good enough.
More than good enough.
To win a gold medal.
I mean, I look back at the 2010 final, the 2014 final, the Four Nations final, and they were tight games, man. Like, you could finally like exhale when Canada won, right? It was almost like a relief, like, wow, they're really getting close here. And I mean, I didn't think it was even a close game. I mean, Hellebuck was great, but like I said, it could have been a 6-1 game. Should have been.
I was 4-1 to 5-1. I mean, the 2 breakaways, the paddle, the lucky paddle thing.
The post.
You talking about McKinnon?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if he hit the post.
Or outside of the net.
Yeah,
An empty net. Empty net.
Yeah, a whole empty net. Duke, give me the big thing already again now.
I mean, I'm feeling for those guys this week, though. Like the guy, like Celebrini, McDavid, the breakaway, Taves, the open net, McKinnon, the open net. Like these guys got to think about these for 4 years now.
Like the Taves one bothered me way more, to be honest with you, than the McKinnon. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're the same. How's that? They're the same.
Really? I'm kind of the opposite.
Are you?
Yeah, I thought McKinnon's is like I don't know, a little bit more of like an open net. I think Taves, like you're just thinking you just got to tap that in. It's a wide open cage.
I look at it with Taves as you had 23 and a half square feet to shoot at.
Sure, but he gets it off the ice. Like it's in the air.
But man, I just think that is just all BS luck.
Yeah. 100%.
All luck. 100%.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm
100%
sick of hearing about who should have been on the team. I'm sick of hearing McDavid's not a big game player. I'm sick of all of it.
Yeah, it's been some trying, text at people because people are so passionate and they want to talk about it. And they, everyone, as you says, is an armchair quarterback. I look at it too, like if you think the roster construction for both teams, Schlemmer, was under the microscope as soon as they were named.
Oh, big time.
We all knew that.
Yeah.
I think Bill Guerin took more heat than what Doug Armstrong did.
He did.
Yeah. And then you think about the guys that he brought that were under the microscope the most, those two guys helped them at the most the highest level of times that the Americans needed them. Those two guys in Trocheck and Miller helped them the most. And were massive contributors.
Hard on pucks. Yeah, they're good in a tight game like that. But let
Penalty kill.
Let me broach this to you. What if the Canadians bury some of their chances? Say they bury half of them. They win 4-1. That's all they're talking about was, well, we needed scorers, we needed Robertson, we needed Caulfield.
Just like how the Canadian fans are saying.
Right. Like for me, the only faction of the game that the US was better was their decor. I thought their decor were just excellent. They skated so well, they moved the puck well, they were good under sticks, they didn't give up a lot of second chances. Yeah. I thought their D was a little bit better than Canada's, minus Makar. I thought he was pretty excellent.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of texts coming in now again. I'll just everyone fired up. Thanks a lot.
Got everyone
I
going
thought we were
again.
done for a couple days here, Schlemmer.
You
But
brought it up,
I
man.
know I brought it up. So, and again, you're probably in the same boat as everyone. And I'm not bitching and whining about 3-on-3. Everyone knew the rules going in.
Yeah.
That's what everyone knew, and they knew what they were getting into. So it's not an advantage or a disadvantage to anyone going in here.
I mean, obviously, after Canadian fans, after watching them dominate at 5-on-5 for 60, of course, it's easy to say you don't want 3-on-3.
Yeah. So I just look at it like I wanted to see a full 20-minute period of 5-on-5.
Yeah, I would have loved to. I would have loved to see
I think
5-on-5,
but not in the other games, just in the gold medal games.
Yeah.
And then after 5, if you can't settle it there, now you're going to 3-on-3, and it's going to be decided in like as quick as it was.
Well, every overtime game was decided in the first 3-4 minutes.
And again, to your point, you're like, now we get texts from like a guy like Kenneth who just cannot get off this subject. McDavid getting 0 points in big championship games and being a ghost is pretty unarguable.
Well, I mean, I would like to counter that a little bit and say he created quite a bit. I mean, a lot of, I would say, grade A opportunities on Celebrini's stick that came from McDavid.
Sure.
Right? Could have
tons.
So those go in. He's got 3 apples, and
they got a gold medal.
Everyone's talking about, he's got the most points ever at the Olympics, the best player in the world.
It's such a fine line, winning and losing, when you're putting together rosters like this.
Yep. It's a one game. It's a one game elimination. Sometimes the best team doesn't always win.
Canada could have lost to the Czechs.
Right.
The Americans could have lost to Sweden.
True.
That's how fine a line it is.
That's the Olympics.
Sometimes it just ain't your day.
So I was listening to you on 997 coming in. Sports Go Sports.
Yeah.
So I was listening to your pitch on the World Junior.
Really? I've been saying that for 20 years, Schlemmer.
It's a creative idea, but I still want to see the NHLers there. Yeah.
I'm just like, I think about now with Sid Crosby out a month.
Yeah.
I think about, guys that are going to be banged up and whatever. I just, and for those of that you don't know, I've been saying this I think it's basically been since 06, because 98 was the novelty.
Yeah.
For me, especially because it was Nagano and Gretz was still playing. 02's the championship and the gold medal in Salt Lake. And then for me, it started to, I lose that a little bit.
Okay.
It
loses its luster.
But think about for you, Schlemmer. So you haven't seen it for
12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I had it way back when you were like at that time in 98, you're not, what are you, 11 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it a little differently. And for our listeners, so my proposal from 20 years ago was every 4 years to have the World Juniors.
Yeah.
Play.
It's a good idea. I do. I think it makes sense, like logistically, the injuries to the NHLers, but I don't know, just for me personally, like I can't get up for an NHL game the same way that I did for these Team Canada games.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, I don't know, they just feel special.
Listen, I'm just trying to picture something that has the best of all worlds, the best of both worlds.
That makes sense. It really does.
And also what it does do, and maybe there's some sort of a stipulation that if you are World Junior eligible, you want to call it that, then you go. Okay, so the NHL teams have to be on board with that. So let's just say like a Macklin Celebrini. Team Canada wants them. You got to let them go. Okay, figure that out. So
I think that's going to be hard to talk the NHL teams into that.
I mean, that's just one little branch off of an idea here.
Yeah.
So might be something. It'll never happen. We all know it'll never happen. But for that one, and think about when they and they're not shutting down the CHL, but when they
the guys
the
just
World
miss
Juniors
the games, right?
Right. But it is like for 6 weeks.
It's extended period, right?
It's a little bit less, and the teams that you're not going to lose. Like how many guys off of a junior team? Let's just say let's use the Oil Kings for example. For this year's World Junior, they had a couple guys. You're not going to lose. Like, man, yesterday we were talking in Dallas. They had 7 guys.
Yeah, it's wild.
So
if Sorelli and Point hadn't been injured, Tampa had 11 players at the Olympics.
That's crazy. Florida had the most, right?
I think so.
Florida had the most, or
Yeah, I
was it
think so.
Tampa? Yeah. Which leads me to believe, like a guy like we were talking about the Americans. I'm not getting into this, but that's why a guy like Gensel goes, I'm not going to the White House. And we got enough problems here. We got to worry about where we are right now, moving into the back half of the Olympic break.
I heard that. That's interesting. Kind of makes the rest of the boys look bad.
Well, but Jackson Lacombe, Duke, right? So he goes from Miami or wherever. He goes to Anaheim, doesn't do anything. Nelson was, who else, Duke? Brock Nelson, and then there's two more. Can't remember who they are. So there was 20, whatever. But I don't care.
We know what Trocheck was doing.
What did I miss? What?
Well, in the medal ceremony, it was a pretty good lip reading. You could see what he was saying.
I'm getting effed up tonight.
Well, and then when they were at that 11, did what's his name pick up the tab or something? I thought it was free booze anyway, Duke. I thought Pat McAfee picked up the tab or something.
Oh, did he?
150 grand or something.
Oh, it's a nice little treat for the boys.
He's got some dough. He's got some cash. Anything else Olympic wise? And again, listen, I'm on board. I love to see the players there. But like right now, what are the Penguins saying? What are the Kings saying with Fiala?
Oh, definitely. No argument there. I'm sure the teams hate it, but everyone else loves it. So good luck talking the players out of it.
They never, once it stays in. I wish there were some other things where the NHL could, I don't know, maybe they have a bit more of a presence.
Like at the games?
Yeah. Just little things where they can, get a couple, somehow invest themselves where
they can make a little bit of money off of it. Yeah, then they'll be there for sure. That's what it's all about.
So that's what I'm saying in the sense of where the owners go, I'm not just shutting my business down for 2 weeks.
Right.
Like what do you think the NBA would do this?
No. Not a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, they play games on Christmas.
So if the NBA, is there a chance maybe they could come to terms because the NBA does it, they play in the summer?
That would be cool.
So do you think how much of a following would there be for NHLers to play in the Summer Olympics?
It's a good question.
I don't know. These are all
You're playing in an arena anyway.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that idea.
Text 833-401-1440. We'll get to tons of them coming in regarding Team Canada, Oilers moving forward. There were a few jokes that were coming in. A lot of people want me to tell this joke, you guys included now. I think I should rip it off here quick, Duke, or should I wait?
Go for it, Kev.
Okay.
Yeah, you have, as the producer of the show, you have my blessing.
All right. So no matter what, we still got jobs tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So I said this, and I sort of passed it by here. This to our listeners. I said this to my mother-in-law who turned 85 the other day. And I said an older woman went in to see the doctor. And for the last, couple months, her flatulence was off the charts. It was just on and on and on, just nonstop. So she goes to see the doctor and they were talking about it, blah, blah, blah. And the doctor's saying, okay, asking a few questions. And she says, well, the good thing is that the flatulence is silent. They're all silent and they're odorless. That's the good thing. And the doctor says, okay, I'm going to give you a prescription for these pills. You take them for 2 weeks. You come back and see me. So the woman takes these pills. She comes back in 2 weeks. And she says, doctor, I don't know what these pills did or what they are, but I can't believe it. In the last 2 weeks, my farts have been so smelly, I can't even stand to be around myself. That's how bad they are. I just can't believe it. It's just, it's unbearable. And the doctor looks at her and says, okay, now that we've got your sinuses cleared up, let's work on your hearing. Isn't there supposed to be like a boom boom? Boom, Duke?
Yeah, sorry, that's on me. I don't have that hockey ready to fire. That's my bad.
Well, we're going to see how many texts come in about people liking the joke or not when we go to break here. When we come back, Ryan Boulding from NHL.com covers the Colorado Avalanche. Oh, no, I'm getting personal text now, Duke, though. Oh, no. When we come back, Ryan Boulding, Kevin Karius, David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Sometimes you think about what you're going to do in the day.
go to work, pick up the kids from school, make supper. But at GS Construction, we think a little differently. Winter is our season to think, to plan, and to improve. We study, we innovate, we train. So when the thaw comes, we're ready to dig, build, and deliver even better, which means we need people like you. If you're thinking about joining the team at GS Construction, now's the time to do it. To apply and to see how we think, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. Heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother had the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. And yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans, stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
Why pay dealership prices when you can get the same quality for less? Hi, it's Lisa, and here at Ed's Auto Salvage, we've been Alberta's trusted source for used auto parts for nearly 50 years. From engines to mirrors, transmissions to tires, we've got it all at prices guaranteed to keep your wallet happy. Shop local, shop smart. Shop Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Be sure to visit us online at edsautosalvage.com and get your vehicle back on the road for less.
Crave presents a new must-see original crime drama.
You think you can just walk away with drug money and nobody's gonna come find you?
The Borderline.
You killed my friend.
Set along the Thousand Islands border, a cop blurs the line to protect his past.
I'm gonna keep you out of jail.
Starring Stephen Amell, Tamara Podemski, Hamza Haq, and Minnie Driver.
Did you catch the bad guys?
I always catch the bad guys.
The Borderline. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 9:21 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, David Schlemko, Josh Benwick with you here on Sports 1440. Time to talk a little hockey stateside, Colorado Avalanche, and everything else with Ryan Bolding from NHL.com. And our puck report brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, at Fountain Tire, we focus on one thing, and that is your vehicle, from tires to wheels to oil changes, even vehicle repairs. We've got you covered. You can visit fountaintire.com to book your appointment today as we welcome in Ryan Bolding from NHL.com. Morning, Ryan. You're with Kevin Karius and the former NHLer, David Schlemko. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. I really appreciate it.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, big news with the Avs yesterday with the trade acquiring a former Oiler, Brett Kulak. How was the trade received in Denver, Ryan?
Yeah, I think the trade was received pretty well. It's kind of the end of an era for the Sam Girard era here in Denver. And it's something that maybe, the writing's been on the wall for the last couple of years, but, he played pretty much his whole career here. So there's a little bit of a sadness, of a farewell for that happening. But at the same time, obviously you're getting the guy who's played in back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, who's a bit of a different player, who's been playing for longer. And it will be interesting to see what he brings to this team. It's a team that has a Cale Makar. You've got Sam Malinsky now. Sam Girard was kind of another, smaller puck-moving defenseman that maybe this team didn't need as much. So now you've got your Devon Taves, you've got Brent Burns, Josh Manson, and now Brett Kulak to kind of see what these guys can do on the other side of that.
Now, where exactly do you see Kulak sliding in here? I'm just looking at the depth chart. Kind of interesting that there's 4 right shots on the back end. You don't see that as much. And Makar, Manson, Burns, and Malinsky. Do you see him kind of sliding in with Malinsky on the third pair? Or does he maybe slide into that second pair with Manson or Burns?
Yeah, I think he's going to dip his toe in on that third pair with Malinsky. Malinsky has been playing the left at times successfully, so I imagine that's where he's going to start. Yesterday, Jared Bednar said, the way he looks at it, it's about possible matchups for the postseason and the ability to maybe you move him up and Devon Taves down or Malinsky up, and you put Taves on the second pair or wherever you need these guys to be the most effective. So I think you're going to see him start tonight at Utah on the third pair with Sam Malinsky, and then kind of once he gets as familiar with the system as he can be in a short amount of time, you'll probably see him move around some.
What are we looking at for tonight's lineup, Ryan, in the sense of so many guys on the Avs were at the Olympics? Is everyone going to be? Some guys, I'm thinking Brock Nelson is one guy for sure that I've heard isn't. What are we looking at tonight?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little wild. So the guys who were in the gold medal game didn't travel with the team last night, but were expected to travel here today. So I think we're kind of going to have to see what the call-up situation looks like to really understand who's going to play and who's not going to play. I think the Finns and the Swedes, Marty Nietzsche should all be in, and then we're going to have to kind of see here as morning skate unfolds who's in the building. I wouldn't be surprised if some guys even don't morning skate and fly in later in the day, since it's so close to Denver, Salt Lake City. So I think that's a little bit of a mixed bag what we're going to see here. But yeah, you've got Makar, Taves, McKinnon, and Nelson at least kind of questionable, as it were.
Right.
So you got to do the Kulak trade. You pick up another $2 million and change in cap space. I believe the Avs have over $8 million in space now. I'm hearing Nazem Kadri's name a lot. Any truth to those rumors?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because Kadri's the guy whose name's come up pretty much every day, I think, since he left town for Calgary. And, the Avs got Brock Nelson. They have a good, solid number 2 center now. It took a little while to get there. But it was always his salary was the thing, right? When people would tell me, why don't the Avs get Kadri? I would just send them like Puckpedia's salary page and say, where are you going to get this money from? Like, it's not possible. Now, suddenly it seems like a reality. Now, maybe you're looking at, a solid third line center guy. I don't know if that's the role he would really want. I don't know if you move Brock Nelson down. He's quietly been very good for the Avs after a bit of a slow start to the season. So I don't see him moving down. And you basically are rotating Parker Kelly and Jack Drury as the third line center. And I think it's been good, but when you get to the postseason, is that good enough? Maybe not. So, I saw something the other day that said the Avs have 8.7, and that's Sidney Crosby's number. So keep an eye out there. But I think fans here are kind of delusional about the whole Sidney Crosby thing, although there is Nathan McKinnon, right? So that's the wild card.
Yeah, and especially now Crosby out for a month. So that's bad news for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hey, you just mentioned him, and it's a local guy from Camrose, Parker Kelly. So, what a find this has been for the Avalanche. He signs an extension even through 2030 that kicks in next year. He's got like a dozen goals this year and plays, as you know, Ryan, in all situations. Man, what a critical player that you can have at such a low figure for your cap that contributes in so many facets of the game.
Yeah, he's been real fun to watch. I think that's a real beauty of what the Avs scouting staff and development staff, kind of as a whole are capable of, going out and finding these, and I don't want to use it in an insulting way, but a hidden gem type of player where, maybe they didn't get a full shake, maybe he didn't get a full shake in Edmonton, and he comes out. And I think the thing that everybody is surprised by is, sometimes guys in like a third, four line kind of tweener role are just having fun. They're playing in the NHL, they're living their dream, and that's all that matters. But he's very serious. He takes everything very seriously. And because of that, he's very reliable in those roles. He's, earned time up and down the lineup. He's been playing a lot of wing, but he's capable of playing center. He can move up to the third line and play wing and be successful. He can move down to the fourth line and play center and be in charge of that too. So, yeah, he's been a real good find for them.
Unreal.
What about a young guy like Gavin Brindley? I know he scored in Edmonton earlier in the year. Is he a guy that's done enough that he kind of has a spot, or is he a guy that you could see getting pushed out for the playoffs, kind of on the outside looking in?
Yeah, that's a great question. Just as I was sending kind of my projected lineup up to Matt in Utah yesterday, I'm looking at with the guys healthy, assuming that the gold medal guys play. Gavin Brindley's a real question mark for me now because you've got Joel Kiviranta at 2, and you're looking and you're like, okay, what are we going to do with these guys? And Logan O'Connor isn't healthy. I don't know if he's going to be back to play this year. Like his original projection was November, but if he were to come back, that's another guy kind of bumping guys down this lineup. So I do think the team has been pretty happy with Gavin Brindley. He's played all the way up to the first line. He's played minutes on the second line, and he's had real success. He's a bit of a firecracker guy, and I think that they're kind of dipping his toe in a bit in responsibility, but they want to see what they got there. They've thrown him into the fire, and he's been successful. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a guy like Joel Kiviranta maybe lose his position to Gavin Brindley, as we go down the line here.
NHL.com's Ryan Bolding with us on Sports 1440. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko with you. 9:30 in Edmonton. When you take away guys like Landeskog and McKinnon, the guys that have been there for a long time, in the sense of a leadership group and wearing C's and A's and things like that. I just wanted to maybe get your thoughts on where you put Josh Manson into that category as being maybe sort of a glue guy and all the things that he does, the tough things that he has to do. What's he meant to this team here, Ryan?
Yeah, I think Josh Manson has been a key part of the defense for this team. For all the talk of Cale Makar and Devon Taves, I think Manson played a critical role in the 2022 Stanley Cup win. I think he was probably the best acquisition, kind of low key, that the team added that year, and it really changed things for them. And he played well. He's struggled with some health issues in the past, but it seems to be good and past him. He was having some like oblique injury kind of issues, and yeah, he's been a key part of this team. Like he came in and just became the second pairing. Him and Brent Burns have been, pretty good to watch. The Avs have a good habit of bringing in an older veteran guy like Burns, like Jack Johnson to a degree, and having those guys have success in their role. So, but yeah, he's the anchor. He's the physical guy. When he's on the ice, it's going to be physical. He's going to be hard to play against. I think that his role and what he's meant to the team, he's maybe not a leader on the team, but I know that he plays a sort of leadership role in the room. Guys look up to him, and he's very gracious. The game before the Olympic break, he scored a nice goal, and he just says, if I'm scoring, that means everybody is doing something right. Like it's a team effort if I'm scoring goals.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm just wondering where Gabe Landeskog is really at. Obviously just played in the Olympics, looked pretty good to me, but where is he at? I'm sure you see him more on a regular basis. How is he feeling about his game? Is he back to where he was before? Is he still thinking about the injury at all?
I think the last couple weeks before he had his upper body injury, which I think we're all assuming was ribs, is maybe the most Gabe Landeskog we've seen him since he's come back from his injury. It was his first game in the AHL. It was tentative. You could tell he lost a step. He wasn't himself. He likes to joke that he was never the best skater anyway, so it's not really skating that you're paying attention to. But, the Avalanche really missed him when he was hurt. He's a big body guy who goes to the front of the net. He's maybe one of the best, deflection guys on the team. You hoped maybe Val Nichushkin could step up and fill that role. Sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't. But since he's been back, I think he was getting frustrated not scoring, and once it finally started, he started kind of calming down, finding his role. He was playing well. When he went out with injury in Florida, the team started struggling. This is a team that had lost like 4 games in regulation by the end of that trip, and then they kind of went 500 for a little while. I think between him and Devon Taves, who also got hurt on that road trip, we really got to see how important Devon Taves was on the back end, as not necessarily the puck-moving guy that Cale Makar or Sam Malinsky is, and then just the hole in the lineup that was there when Gabe was out. So he's a leader. He leads by example. He's a vocal leader. He's a good guy in the room. I think the team is better off, even if he were playing fourth-line minutes, with him dressed, with him in the room at all times. But then he was playing well. And like you said, at the Olympics, I thought he looked pretty good, considering his attendance was in doubt initially when the injury happened. So if he can carry that on, I think, the top 6 is going to be back to being very dangerous for this team.
Ryan Boulding from NHL.com, our guest on Sports 1440. When you think of the division here and the way Colorado started, as Ryan, they must be thinking, what do we got to do to shake Minnesota and Dallas here? I don't call, the Avs have got some games in hand on these teams, but the Stars were hot going into the break. Minnesota was hot. They must be thinking, what do we got to do to have to feel comfortable here? Because these two teams are right on their tail here.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any comfort in the Central Division, really. You're looking at maybe Utah squeaks into the playoffs. Utah, lost to the Avs in a shootout at home and beat them at home. So it's a team that can play them. It's funny, we were talking about it too. Minnesota, they had such a bad start. They seemed out of it, and then they just roared back in. And then you add Quinn Hughes, and this is a whole different conversation now. And Dallas, I'm worried for Dallas because of the injuries that they've had from the Olympics. So Mikko Rantanen's out at least 2 weeks. I think I saw that Radek Faksa's out. Rupe Hintz is sick, so he's going to miss a couple of games. These are important games for everybody. And we'll have to see with the compressed schedule. Sometimes it's harder for guys to come back. There's not as much practice. They're not getting, game shape as quickly. We've seen it with Mackenzie Blackwood this season, where he's really struggled to kind of take back the number 1 spot from Scott Wedgwood, who's obviously playing out of his mind this year. But part of it is just because the team doesn't have practice time. He can't get in with real reps in net. So I don't think the Avs are too worried. I think they're pretty confident. If anything, I would say the compressed schedule has been real hard, I'm sure, for everyone. But mentally, it's a bit of a grind. You're playing every other day. You're not getting a lot of practice time. You're not getting a lot of rest. They've kind of tried to mix in some off days as a result, but everybody talked about the mental grind. It's going to be pretty tough, shootout from here on out too. There's 5s and 6s and things like that. So I think the Avs feel like they're in a pretty safe spot, but we're going to have to see how they kind of respond to this real tough stretch.
Is this something that they openly talk about in the room, though, is how important this is to win the division and, have that better first round matchup? Or has the message just been, we're worried about ourselves?
Yeah, it's hilarious. So in the room, we're worried about ourselves. We're just taking it game by game, get pucks deep, play a full 60. Jared Bednar always tells us, our goal from the outset, one of our goals in training camp is win the division, right? Control our destiny, control our fate. So we know that is a conversation that they have. They just don't really share it with us on an individual level. Right. But, you can see what happens when you don't really control your fate. I think a real cruelty for the whole league last year was having the Avalanche and Dallas go head to head in round 1. Those two teams were juggernauts. So I think the Avalanche really want to avoid a situation where they're going to have to play either of those teams, Minnesota or Dallas, the way that they're playing. Let them beat each other up. Let the Avs take on, Seattle, Utah, whoever's kind of creeping in there at the bottom, and then go from there. I think that's the real focus. And I think you're going to see guys like Nathan MacKinnon, who did not win a gold medal, really, really take it out on the rest of the league here as things go on. He's going to be mad about it.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Good stuff. Hey, Ryan, excellent stuff. Really appreciate you coming on. Enjoy the final 7 weeks of the season. And here we go. Playoffs right around the corner. Appreciate you coming on. We'll talk soon. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Ryan Boulding from NHL.com covers the Colorado Avalanche. And our puck report brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, we focus on one thing, and it is your vehicle. Check them out at fountaintire.com. It was a question that Duke had for in or out yesterday. I think it was yesterday, Schlemmer, about Connor McDavid and just what Ryan was saying there about how pissed off a guy like Nathan MacKinnon's going to be. And so I think Duke had three categories. A, just, blasting out of the, just an unreal. Duke said 10 points in 3 games here on this trip.
Yeah.
Or, maybe a little more subdued, or maybe business as usual sort of thing. A lot of people said 2 of them are the same because of how he's playing.
Yeah,
So it's
fair.
kind of 2 of the same. So I know where you at. Like, I just worry about such an emotional.
Yeah, for me, I think there's got to be a little bit of an emotional letdown after all that. How he's handled that over the last few days. I mean, nobody really knows.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see.
Oh, unreal. When we come back, I guess we'll go in or out with David Schlemko. Hey, also Emerson Edam's coming on.
I saw that.
So you guys missed each other by what? A couple years?
I missed him by like 1 year, I think.
Okay,
but I think it's my
perfect,
first year pro. He came in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I've met him. We skated together and
awesome.
stuff.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
he's a good dude.
Yeah, good stuff. When we come back, in or out with David Schlemko. Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, trade values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
At Cougar Paint and Collision, their family-first approach makes you feel like part of the clan.
We care about the shop because it's our name on the sign. And when you own a business, that is so important to remember that everyone you're dealing with is a human being, and they're going through something, whether you see it or not. What will make people choose you is how they feel when they leave your shop. People need to feel important. They need to feel heard. I think that sets us apart. It's really, really important.
Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Area, Adjusted, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
Oh man, I rewatched everything. I think the couch has a permanent dent in it. I've got to get out of here.
Feeling a little cooped up? Break free from cabin fever with a new ride from Nisku Ford. This February, the open road is calling. Answer it in a brand new Ford and get interest rates as low as 0% or rebates up to $8,500. It's the perfect excuse to escape the house and rediscover the joy of driving. Your adventure starts at Nisku Ford. See our inventory today at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 943 in Edmonton. We were just talking about the possibility of Schlemmer playing for the Critters tomorrow in Legal, because I believe we're one body short. They'll double shift the center guys because they like their ice time pigs, right, Duke? AJ and, well, Silky Mitts, he comes off. AJ never comes off.
Silky Mitts.
Yeah.
What a name.
Ryan Silky Mitts McRae, right? Yeah. Anyway, I thought, Schlemmer, can you make it? Well, let me check my calendar. He pulls his calendar out, and there's like 8 million things to do on it. Picking up a kid at dance at 9:00. Then there was about 100 other things.
There's a lot going on in the week. Kids and activities, man. Just a taxi driver right now.
And Duke and I said, well, we're the exact opposite. Oh, I think I am. Duke, you got more things on the go than me. I don't have.
Do I really?
Okay, besides, if you took hockey out of the mix.
If you if you looked at like my phone calendar, like what Schlemmer has there, the only thing that will be on there are the automatic ones, like the holidays and dates that go in there. When I donate blood, it automatically imports into it, and my hockey schedule from the tropics automatically. You can import it from the website as well. That's the only thing on there.
But you do like lots of stuff for the radio and stuff. You go and do events and stuff like that. No?
Not so much. Like, and they're always usually just on the back of like Kevin doing something. If he's hosting an event or something, I'll go tag along. Like we would go to the casino and things. The first year we would go to Thursday night football games.
Yeah.
But that we didn't do that the past 2 seasons anyways. So in the summertime, my calendar's a little busier because I've got weddings and stuff and bachelor parties, that jazz. But
bachelor parties.
Well, yeah, that goes hand in hand with weddings, Kevin.
Yeah,
just because you've never been invited to any of them doesn't mean they don't happen.
Duke, I've been to some bachelor parties where I don't even remember.
Kev, once I find my my lucky lady and my bachelor party's on the diet, I'm trusting you to plan it. You're going to be the planner of the bachelor party.
Okay, this could be an NRL question. Like, how out of control have bachelorette parties got?
Like planning for them?
Like,
it's
how much money you're spending, where you're going for these things.
And I'm so out on it.
See, that's good because that's how I would like. This would be. I could see some sort of like a hayride, Duke, like just through the country. Hey, can you imagine all the fellas on a hayride, bar to bar, like through the little towns, like a 2 or 3 day
for
trip?
sure. It'd be So I don't know if you need a hayride, just like rent a party bus or something. You can drive us around.
No. Just a
or maybe it gets or something.
Like I don't know. Like I guess I was pretty young for, especially by today's standards. Like I got married at 23, but I remember like my bachelor party was like going to a strip club in Edmonton. And then like 5 years later, when all my friends got married, it was like, all right, we're going to Scottsdale. We're going to Vegas.
Crazy. No, for most of my buddy Schlemmer, it's because most of my friends are from Delburne, obviously still. It's Friday night. We'll maybe do something else. Like we went to a Sylvan Lake Gulls game the one year. Went to Oilers, like watch a playoff game at a bar in Sylvan Lake and little pub crawl down the beach there. And then Saturday, you go golf in the morning and you rent one of the local community halls out in the sticks. Everyone pulls their trailer in and you just get schmammered from noon till 6 o'clock the next morning.
That sounds pretty awesome.
And in my case, get your ACL retorn playing for two-hand touch football.
I wonder between Josh and Duke, whose bachelor party is going to be planned first?
Yeah, good question.
That is a good question.
Couple bachelors.
Yeah.
Batch boys. What about Donovan?
No.
No,
not a chance. Time now for Are You In or Out?
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
Matt and Leduc texted in and said Duke missed the part where they chased away the quilters.
That was the wedding. That was the Sunday morning at the wedding when we're trying to take everything down and these damn quilters are crowding us.
And that was just east of Delburne, or
No, that was like out west of Olds.
Okay.
Eagle Hill, if I remember correctly, was the name of that hall. Yeah, nice facility, but yeah, those quilters, they were getting in our business. We weren't done cleaning up yet.
All right, Duke, Letterbuck.
Oilers finally back at it tonight after a 3-week break, starting off a 3-game trip in Anaheim. All 3 games coming Pacific time zone in California. Simple prediction for this little mini swing. Oilers pick up 4 of an available 6 points against the Ducks, Kings, and Sharks.
You want me to go first? Len?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be honest, Duke, this trip scares me. I'm going to be out. I think 4 is hot. And that's bad for this team right now. I'll be honest with you. I think they might get a win, tie, like an overtime and a loss. So 1-1 and 1. Maybe they get 3.
That's what I was going to say.
That's what you were going to say?
I was going to say 3. I think 3 is pretty realistic. I'm like looking back at the Oilers coming out of breaks. They're not usually great. I am looking for them to kind of hit another level, take their game to another gear here.
Yeah.
They've shown that they can do it over the past couple of years. I think the time is now to start showing a little urgency, but I don't think they're going to get 4 out of 6 on this trip. I don't know why.
Well, they lose tonight, obviously. The Ducks, which we're going to touch on more in a couple of questions, but back-to-back part against the Kings, and we don't know the full scope of what McDavid's workload or ice time is going to look like. But keep in mind the Kings, they're without a top 6 forward too, Kevin Fiala. They added Panarin, of course, going back to before the Olympic break. And then the Sharks matinee game on Saturday in NorCal. I don't know. Little friendly rivalry between the former line mates of McDavid and Celebrini. I think that is a game. The Sharks are a much better team this year, but they're still like the Oilers should beat them. So I put that down as a win. Now, if it ends up being as a win and 2 overtime loss or something, so be it. Yeah. But I think 4 points should be in the sphere of not just possibility, but
they need it.
Well, that's what I mean, right? There's, like Schlemmer said, this level of desperation or something close to desperation should kick in, hopefully sooner rather than later for
you. I just want to see guys like RNH and Zach Hyman and Ross Levick up front, and then, even like Bouchard and all these guys on the back end say, you know what? We got to take over here because
let's carry the mail for a few games here and let these guys get their feet back under them.
That's how I see it.
Couldn't agree more.
That's where I want to see it and see those guys really, really play well.
Speaking of the back end, Kevin, deadline just over a week away, and it's become very common. Everybody finally getting in line with what I've been feel like I've been saying for months now, is that a top 4 right-handed defenseman is number 1 on the shopping list. And our own Jason Greger over at Oilers Nation penned an article the other day about some potential options, realistic options, and the names he kind of circled: Connor Murphy, Rasmus Ristolainen, Zach Whitecloud, and Jonathan Kovacevic, based on money, contract, age, ability, etc., all go into play here. With all those factors considered, I think the best fit for the Oilers is the man out of Chicago, the expiring or pending UFA Connor Murphy.
You're the D-man. Go ahead.
I'm going to be out on that one. I would, if I'm just picking out of those guys, I would pick Ristolainen. I just think he's better than the other 3, personally.
I think he has the highest upside, but he also may have one of the lower floor. Like, he's pretty erratic, and he's improved a lot. Like, if you talk about numbers and things and analytics the past couple of years compared to seasons previous, where he was always on bad teams. But I just think it may be a little too erratic for what the Oilers need on the back end.
Fair. I like the fact, well, there's 2 things here. So they've all got term left, like what you're saying with Ristolainen, and the injuries is mentioned here. Murphy's, his contract expires at the end of this year. That's what I like about that one. The one that I don't think people really know a whole lot about, but to me, it's just too much term and too much length, and that's Kovacevic. I mean, he's got what, 5 or more, 6 years, 6 more years? He goes right through 2030 at $4 million. I mean, he's a big guy. And I mean, is that they've run into enough problems here where they've got contracts that are too long here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I just
I mean-
don't love Kovacevic, honestly. I don't even love any of these guys. I think they need someone who can move the puck better than all four of them.
So who
So if we're going outside the board, is there a name that is at least you would think available and maybe within the Oilers' limits of shopping list that jumps out to you, Schlemmer?
I mean, I don't really have the numbers or the contract, but like a guy that got brought up a couple of weeks ago on this show was Justin Falk out of St. Louis.
Okay, so he's got one more year at 6.1. And we talked about the fact, and a lot of texters, well, it's actually just one guy that texts in every time we bring up Falk's name. He said that shouldn't be interested in him. Falk, and again, comes in after what Rasmus Anderson's return was. And, you give up White Cloud, you give up a possible first, it's conditional, and a second. So the return for Falk is going to be maybe not as much.
I don't think so.
But it's going to be up there.
They'll be up there, yeah.
So the
That's
Oilers
fair.
I don't know if they have the right assets
True.
that are left.
I mean,
They don't have anything.
The question is just like, which guy can you think of?
Yeah.
That's
No, I
my
get it.
guy.
Yeah. And we brought him up a lot here too.
Yeah,
Summer. We
yeah,
have.
I know. That's what I was saying. Like,
So-
I know we've
And-
talked about him before.
And we talk about Falk, obviously the team he's playing for. There's some other names on that team, which we're going to get to them in a couple questions as well here. But let's circle back to tonight's game. The Anaheim Ducks, the opponent for the Oilers, the first of these 3 games in Cali. I think, and I get it, I'm biased. I watch all the games. I do think the Ducks are the biggest threat to Edmonton in terms of leapfrogging them inside the Pacific Division here down the final third of the season.
So you're taking them over, obviously, Seattle. They're in the same boat right now.
Points wise, currently the same,
identical records, basically. Both a 563 win percentage. Oh. Yeah, I might be in with the Duke on this one. I mean, Seattle still, they had that little run and then they stunk for a while and everyone was calling for Lane Lambert's head. They didn't like the way they played 2-1 game and just tried. They were playing New Jersey and Minnesota style.
It's the team they got.
They got a lot of potential guys that could move here too, as far as pending UFAs go. Is there anything like if Fiala, and then we had a texter saying that the Kings aren't going to miss Fiala. I don't understand that. He's like a 30-goal guy. A 30-goal guy.
Yeah, that text is silly.
I don't get it, man.
He's the top 6 player on their team.
Exactly.
Power PP1. Like, they're obviously going to miss him.
I'll be honest, Duke. If Fiala would have still been around and the addition of Panarin, I might have even went the Kings here.
I'm going with the Kings.
Are you?
That's going to be my pick for sure. I mean, I like Anaheim. I like watching them, but you watch the same movie every year, and like all these good upstart young teams, and the trade deadline hits, and the games get tighter, and they kind of fade.
So you're saying Oilers and Kings in 2 and 3, another first round?
I sure as hell hope not, but it could happen.
Kings are a good choice, Schlemmer, and they're an interesting team too. Coming up here with a week to go, because yes, the Fiala injury does hurt them, like if for players they have available, but it does open up some money because they know he's not going to be back this year, that they can go out there and maybe do some bigger game hunting now. They already added Panarin. Adding 2 new players to your top 6 forward group for the final 25 games of the season, that's not always a recipe for success in terms of chemistry, familiarity, but the Kings are a team that are chips in right now, right? So I would expect Ken Holland to be aggressive here. He got Panarin for a bit of a song, price tag wise. Maybe he pushes a few more chips in to replace Fiala, at least in the short term. And I think the Kings will absolutely be in the mix to be finishing in that 2-3 spot. And I think any of the Ducks, Oilers, or Vegas can still win the division too. So I'm with you, Schlemmer. I do not want to see another Kings Oilers first round matchup. I've had enough.
Yeah.
Even though it would be a different looking team this year. 7 other games around the NHL tonight is the entire league, of course, resuming schedule. The most intriguing team between now and next Friday's trade deadline is one we've already touched on briefly here, the St. Louis Blues.
And that's because of players you think that are going out?
I think the number of potential players that will have other teams interested.
And there's a lot of possibilities when you talk about higher tier players.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like we're not talking role player, expiring UFAs. There's some big ticket guys here that could be on the move as St. Louis tries to kind of do a bit of a gear change.
Thing is, Duke, there's so many teams like that, right? There's so many teams you could put in.
But the Blues are out of it.
Oh,
like
no.
they're compared to so many of these other teams that have decisions to make.
I get it, but like, what if somehow the Canucks could unload Pettersson? Now that's going to end up to be one
But
of
do
the
you see
biggest.
Pedersen getting traded to a team that's in the mix?
I don't know.
I don't see Pedersen's value high enough right now that anyone's going to pay the price for him.
I've said from day one, I don't want him on my team. I'm not paying. I don't want it. So I'm not going to trade for him. But
especially not at 11-6 or whatever he's making.
But Calgary's got Kadri and Coleman.
Yeah.
So they've got, but I think what Duke's kind of inferring here is like with Kyrou and Thomas and guys like that have been out there. But we had Luke Horak in, and he says, I don't see them ever moving Thomas ever.
No, he's kind of the core guy.
And he's at $8 million, so.
They are intriguing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I'll give you that. I think I'm just looking at the standings right now, and Winnipeg has 52 points, man.
Exactly.
They're tied with Calgary. Like, what do they do?
Well, they don't really have anything to do. I think for Winnipeg, they're just going to hold pat because they're thinking this is just a one-off.
This is just a bad year.
They got slower. They don't have, no Ehlers, no Appleton. They got slower. Their defense doesn't move the puck as quickly as it should. They got no Morrissey now. They need Hellebuck to play like he did in the gold medal game down the stretch for every game.
Yeah, for all whatever 25 games they've left, and that probably is not enough.
What about out
to get them into
east,
the playoffs.
like in Big Apple? Or they keep
Trocheck
shedding guys?
Well, for sure, they're shedding as much as they possibly can. I mean, even talks like we had guys in from New York talking about moving Braden Schneider, who's young.
Really? I don't like that idea.
No, but you're thinking of what the offer is and what the return could be. Toronto's an interesting one too, right?
True.
Also in the sense of Bobby McCann, and
they're too proud to blow that up, I think.
I mean, you could go in on this for sure. Duke could be in on several other teams too.
But if we're talking, we've already said this week, Kevin. I'm there with Lou and yourself that I think the Blues will be silly to trade Thomas. But the Kyrou thing is kind of coming to a head. Like, he's been healthy scratch this year. Change of scenery for him to rejig this forward group for him. Falk, Parayko, Binnington, are any or all of those names at least being listened to as offers. And Binnington potentially tied to Montreal to help their goaltending. Will someone pay the price to bring in a guy like Parayko? Falk, maybe the easiest name to move amongst that group. I think there's a lot of options for the Blues here, and like this is Doug Armstrong's last year. Alex Steen's taken over. How do they format this team moving forward? Because they got some good young pieces, but they this year, much like last until they turned it on down the stretch to make the playoffs, is a little bit befuddling at how much they struggled.
With the Steen coming in next year, like how much do they really want to blow this up? Like they want to set this guy up for success.
But
right?
is he's obviously the AGM. Is he in there with Doug Armstrong saying, this is what I'd like to have to set, like give myself this type of a slate when I take over this summer full time and moving forward, right? So it just, that's what I mean with the intrigue about this team. There's a lot of different elements at play from everything from the guys making the decisions down to the players on the ice that could potentially be traded.
And then you mentioned Montreal too. It's kind of intriguing to see how much they really want to dip their toes into the market.
Yeah,
how patient they're going to be.
Listen, as per usual when it comes to a deadline time, we talk it up, and then usually end up pretty let down and disappointed with the type of activity, the names that get moved, and all that. But hey, let's enjoy it and revel in it for another. What are we at here? 8-9 days here in the meantime. Finally, today it is National Chocolate Covered, Nut Day. Great snack, one of the best actually. A standard for fundraisers. I remember as a kid selling boxes of chocolate covered nuts to raise money for the 4-H club, hockey team, whatever.
Those are like in the brown cake, those little
boxes.
Like you get it in the brown cardboard like carry box, but then inside are all the individual ones. They were only like $2 a piece.
And now they're like 10.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, they're not. Some kids came to my door. They were only, I think they're $3 a box.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, then the box is about a quarter as big.
Well, they're not big. They're not big. Yeah. They're those little world's finest boxes. Okay. They're so good.
They're so good. And I'm assuming that the type of ones they're selling you, Schlemmer, are the same that I was selling back in the day, which is the best option of the chocolate covered nut field. It's chocolate covered almonds.
I'm in on that one, 100%. Really? I like the raisins too, actually, and I don't even like raisins, but the chocolate covered ones taste pretty good. But I love the fundraising with the almonds. Kids are coming around fundraising with like the weirdest stuff now. It's like just give them some almonds, man. Everyone buys those. Even like a lot of the fundraisers now are on like the parents, like they'll send you like this online flyer.
Wasn't it always like, I remember my mom
know?
taking the box in, she worked at the bank, take that little brown suitcase into the bank and tried to sell as many of them to everyone at work and even people that would come in.
Well,
So-
I like that the kids have to actually go around and do it themselves and raise the money. Like, I don't want to send this online flyer to my friend. Here, buy this $50 box of chocolates.
Yeah,
Like,
or the cookie dough's big, right?
no one wants to get those.
It reminded me of, like, we had so Struds' wife Shona, what's the kid's name? Drew. Shona wasn't around, right? Shona wasn't around, and Drew grabbed her phone and went through all the contacts and just dialed everyone up. And so my phone rings. Oh, Shona Strodick. Hi, Shona. How's it going? It's not Shona. It's Drew. I'm just using my mom's phone and wondering if you wanted to buy some chocolate cookie dough for the team here. Like, he did that to everybody,
That's awesome.
That's an entrepreneur right there.
That's great.
Yeah. So what about the what's in the Ferrero Rocher?
That's like a hazelnut, I think, right?
Ooh, those are good.
Oh, yeah.
Does that count?
Like a macadamia nut in there, maybe?
In a Ferrero Rocher?
It could be, dude.
Come on.
I don't think it's a macadamia.
No,
but
there's no way.
I think it is a hazelnut.
I think the close second here is chocolate covered peanuts. Glossettes. Grab those for the road trip, the gas station.
I like the Glossette raisins better.
Yeah, those are terrible.
No, they're good.
But I don't like raisins. I don't like raisins. So
what about the bridge?
Just chocolate covered.
Ferrero Rocher primary is hazelnut, but there's a variety of macadamian.
There is the macadamia.
So that's a variety. That's like a specific, like it'd be a different colored wrapper that you'd get.
Finely chopped hazelnut pieces. Not like just normal peanuts are no good, Duke, or what?
Chocolate covered peanuts?
Yeah,
I love them.
That's what
they're great, but they're not as good as almonds.
Schlemmer likes the Glossette raisins better.
I do, yeah.
No,
better than peanuts, not better than almonds. Yeah.
Like, have you ever had like chocolate covered cashews?
No,
I don't
think so either. Because cashews are a great nut. Is this a new market we could tap into?
I'm sure someone's done it.
Yeah,
we need to get it on shelves ASAP. Seize the market.
Well, there's a lot of things out there, Duke, that that are ready for you to tackle as an entrepreneur.
I would agree.
This could be
me and Struddy's kid.
What about, like, hey, never mind. I saw something on Shark Tank, and it was about party planning, as Duke was talking about earlier with his stags. Maybe we got something there with like in a country, like a wagon, with everything, and a hay ride with some horses behind. Stop at the local bars.
I've had some not friends, maybe adjacent people I know that have gone into like the event planning and they host things at their farms or ranches.
Yeah, the barn weddings.
That is so much work. And having just been around people that are planning weddings and stuff, how stressful it gets, a little on edge at times. The couple, the parents can be.
Bridezilla.
I wasn't going to say it, but I'm not sure that's something I'd be interested in. Save myself the stress and hassle.
Yeah, I probably agree with you there.
Good stuff, Duke. When we come back, David with a really good text, we'll get Schlemmer's opinion on it regarding trade deadline and how players are evaluated. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Riverside Honda. 59 years and counting as St. Albert and surrounding areas premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
For the first time in 3 weeks, it is game day for the Edmonton Oilers as they are in Anaheim tonight, taking on the Ducks. Puck drop scheduled for just after 8:30 Mountain Time. Around the rest of the NHL, 7 other games, including Devils hosting the Sabres, Flyers in Washington, Maple Leafs up against the Lightning, Kraken play the Stars, Avalanche in Utah, Jets play the Canucks, and the LA Kings welcome in the Vegas Golden Knights. In case you missed it earlier this morning, Pittsburgh Penguins announcing that Captain Sidney Crosby has been placed on injured reserve, will miss a minimum of 4 weeks with the lower body injury he sustained in Canada's quarterfinal match with the Olympics against Czechia. In the AJ tonight, Bonnyville taking on Fort McMurray just outside the city. Devon is out in Lloydminster. And in the NBA, a handful of games, including the Raptors, second half of back-to-back. They host the Spurs for a 5:30 tip-off from Scotiabank Arena. Elsewhere, Pistons host the Thunder, Sacramento up against Houston, and Denver hosting Boston in the nightcap. MLB spring training continue with the Blue Jays back at it. Grapefruit League action against the Tigers starting just after 11 o'clock today. I'm Brandon Douglas. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Mr. Reuter gets a colonoscopy. All right, Mr. Reuter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too. For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Reuter.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at Tap 25, the MVP of sports bars, and in the center bar. Plus, catch all the biggest games, every goal, every slam dunk. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit titansupply.ca. Irrelevant Saskatchewan history. Kevin's got it. But first, catch the exclusive interviews and stories nobody else has. The Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 10:09 in Edmonton. Have a quicker segment before we get to Emerson Eatham, Anaheim Ducks analyst. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio. David Schlemko, powered by Cougar Paint and Collision. Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family for over 40 years. Part of the NAPA Certified Auto Body Program. Check them out at cougarcollision.com. A couple of things that we talked about over the course of the week. It'll be a question for you, Schlemmer, but you know, everyone's talking about this possibility of a second pair right-handed D. And I was banging this drum at the start, and I still hope that it can happen. That Jake Wallman can be, maybe the answer's within. I always felt that he could play on the offside here.
You're a big proponent of that last year.
Remember last year,
yeah,
and even this year at the start, because that was the original plan. That was the original plan moving forward, because everyone knew what they had with Ekholm and Bouchard. So it's going to be Nurse and Wallman, or give it a spin. Wallman's gets hurt. He's only played half the games.
I mean, I think the thing is with when you had Brett Kulak, it was so easy to just slide him up there if someone was struggling. Mm-hmm. Now it's who else do you have? Like you almost have to have Wallman there, and he just hasn't been himself. All year really hasn't got to his game. not where it was last year.
I was saying some things yesterday. Like, to me, he's trying to make things too difficult for himself and worrying about other things on the ice. And maybe he's worrying about Darnell and playing with Darnell instead of playing and worrying about his side of the ice and not going behind the net. How many times does he look kind of lost going behind, following the puck instead of worrying about his own little zone and area?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think there's a possibility that this can still happen. And I really think the Oilers are wondering if this, because Wallman's got to be healthy now.
He's got to be.
So maybe they spin this out for, again, the 5-6 games they have before the trade deadline.
Give him a shot.
And see if
it's got to get better. It does. Yeah. I mean, and Darnell's got to take some responsibility on this too, right? Mm-hmm. They've both got to get going.
Yeah. The other question that I had, and it was on Monday, because it got brought up by Pete Panonsky over at K97, because he said, "Well, wouldn't it be great if the Oilers could get Macklin Celebrini after how?"
Wow, wouldn't that be nice?
After how McDavid and Celebrini
keep that
played
chem
today.
going, hey?
Yeah, might as well. So, I mean, we posed the question there, and then we talked about it here. So, if you were Mike Greer, so GM of the San Jose Sharks, Stan Bowman went to you today and said, "I'll give you Connor McDavid straight up for Macklin Celebrini."
Oh,
what a heart. Okay, so now, if you're Mike Greer, what would your answer be? And I think
no.
Well, yeah, so Duke and I said no. You would say no too?
10 years less a runway.
10 years less, everything, But it's an intriguing question. I mean, 100% hypothetical. People do not text in and say, "Hey, well, what about that?" No. This is just something that was brought up at K97. So
that's interesting.
It is. It's really interesting, isn't it?
How about if you pose that same question before the Olympics?
Yeah, I wonder what people would have thought, even though people know what Celebrini's done this year.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about
just seeing him do it firsthand against the best in the world.
Well, you just mentioned too about, if they make the playoffs, he's got to be up for the Hart.
It's got to be. Yeah. And where are they expected to finish this year? Dead last? Pretty close.
I mean, he's got twice as many points as anyone else on his team.
Right.
Missed some games, obviously, I would say, but
Will Smith missed some games. He's a really good young player too. But like you said, after that, it really falls off a cliff.
I don't know if either of you saw it, and I can't remember. I think it was Max Miller, who we've had on before down in San Jose. They were talking to some of the Sharks players about Celebrini coming back from the Olympics, and Will Smith said like, "Well, he's going to have to adjust because listen, I'm not Connor McDavid."
I think Desharnais too said he's going to be really effing disappointed.
The question we had for you, Schlemmer, before the break from David: how do teams like the Oilers, as David texts in, how do teams like the Oilers analyze players that might be available for them to trade for? Is it a lot of video from guys in the background showing upper management? Like, how does the full process all work?
Definitely. It's a little bit like that at the start. There's be like scouts sending video, getting GMs to watch video. I like this guy because of this. Like, let's watch him a little bit, see what you think. That will go kind of up the management ladder. And then once it gets down to the last week or two before the deadline, that's why you see GMs watching other teams at different games and stuff, because now they've set their targets and now they really need to decide which one they're going to go after. And that comes down to the big boss.
And the GMs at that point too would say, okay, I need this guy at that game, this guy at whatever else game, just to make sure, because you always see a lot of, at this time of the year, if you were to go down to the rink and for a game, especially say an Oilers game where there's so many, like the seating chart is insane for the scouts that you could see up in the press box. So, and they're like vultures, man. I mean, they know who's on the way out and whatever else. So they want to have their own eyeballs on each guy too.
Right.
So there's so many components here, David, but you're right. The video is there.
It's big business. Lots of meetings too, right?
Yeah.
Like lots of meetings and scouts, different scouts like different guys too, right? So like I've never been in one obviously, but from what I hear, like those meetings can get pretty animated with different scouts fighting for the guys they like, and they're doing their pitch and their sell, right?
And the other thing, like, again, when you're getting down to the nitty gritty and then you might have more than one scout at a game.
Yeah.
You want to get two opinions.
True. Yeah.
Of the same guy. But you're right, Dave, the video is there, and that's a good text that Dave sent in about what teams do and how and there's been other teams, to be honest with you, Schlemmer, that have pulled back on their pro scouting.
Really?
And going to more video.
That makes sense.
And it's cost effective.
It's cost effective for sure. I don't think it's as effective in evaluating as being there, but a lot of these video systems are pretty crazy now, man.
Text 833-401 1440. We'll get to them as the morning progresses. When we return, Anaheim Ducks analyst and former Medicine Hat Tiger Emerson Edom will be with us. The Tigers were down 6-4 here last night at Rogers Place to the Oil Kings, scored 6 goals, win 10-6 in a wild one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your money's worth.
I know.
Eh?
Holy
I'd take
cow.
it.
Well, I was just thinking of what the coaches thought of that one, Dave. Holy moly.
Yeah, it's not a coach's dream. Kind of game.
That's straight ahead. Emerson Edom with us. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, great values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Mr. Rooter gets a colonoscopy. All right, Mr. Rooter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Rooter.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers The Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. The Brick is here to help with deals on your entire bedroom. Save up to 50% off clearance mattresses, 50% off beds when you buy any 3 matching pieces. Buy one, get one half price on ceiling memory foam pillows, and save $100 off any adjustable power base when you buy a mattress over $9.99. Plus, check out other incredible savings in every department. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick in South Common, West Ed Mall, North Side, and downtown.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams. Whether it's retirement or your first home, the deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 1021 in Edmonton. Time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. And we've got a great selection, too. So many colors to pick from. $49,900 gets you behind the wheel. Brand new Jeep Gladiators below $50,000 only at stalbertdodge.com as we welcome in Anaheim Ducks analyst Emerson Edom. Good morning, Emerson. You're with Kevin Karius and David Schlemko on Sports 1440. Thanks so much for taking some time this morning. Really appreciate it.
For my fellow former Medicine Hat Tiger, Schlemmer, anything.
Oh, boy, Emerson.
Love it.
You guys just just a year or two apart when you guys were in the Hat, guys?
I think I just missed you by a year, right? I think it was my first year pro was your first year in Med Hat. Would have been 07, 08?
Something like that.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. My first year would have been 9-10, so it might have been a couple seasons.
Couple years.
Right around there.
Yeah, I remember skating with you at the start of the year there. You're the new big thing.
100%. I'm sure you taught me something. I'm sure you taught me a nice hinge or something like that.
Yeah.
A little speed behind the puck.
Was it a toe drag, Emerson? Probably.
Maybe Schlemmer, I don't know. Was it toe drag or was it just hit the red and deaden in the corner?
Definitely none of that. No, I was definitely not a dump and chase guy.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's stay there for a second, Emerson, and just what did Medicine Hat mean to you, maybe to launch your professional career?
Well, great question, and I don't know what Schlemmer's thoughts are, but for me, it's one of those things where one of my most memorable times of my life is, the Hats. Just such a historic, when you first get in there, you just get that small Western Canadian, small town feel. It's kind of funny. It's almost like being on the set of Landman. I don't know if I'm sure a lot of your listeners tune into that show, and that's what it seems like.
Great.
You're just driving down the main drag, and boom, an open flame. You know what I mean? So it's your prototypical fracking town, great people, and no, it was unbelievable. We had a small country bar there, Ralph's. I know Schlemmer is well aware of that.
Never heard of it.
Great times at Ralphie's or some of the other Earls, whatever, just with the boys. But yeah, for me, it's the old school Western hockey small town.
Yeah.
You're treated like a rock star. Any player that's played in the old barn would still probably prefer playing in the old barn, even though the new barn is absolutely outstanding there. It's NHL NHL caliber. So yeah, that sums up my time there. Great people. I appreciate most just being treated like a rock star in a small Canadian town with all great people around. So this is one of those interviews that I actually got canned for tonight's call. My partner, we're wishing him the best health wise, but he's going through some stuff. So I actually got the call early on that I won't be doing tonight's broadcast via the radio, but so this is one of those old, I get yanked and I'm still doing the interview pregame. So
Right
here we are.
on. Oh, that's funny, man. It was a little bit different for me. Obviously, you're a California kid heading north. I just came from Edmonton, so it was a little easier transition for me. But like you said, it's small town Canada. It's junior, but it feels like you're almost in the NHL. You get treated like a rock star. So it was cool. It treated me great. I still love going back there.
Yeah, for sure. Emerson Edom with us on Sports 1440. Schlemmer just mentioned it. That being a California guy and you come up to Medicine Hat, and in 2010, as you said, your first year, in the Hat, that's when Canada and the U.S. played for Olympic gold in Vancouver. Just maybe a thought on that gold medal game and the Americans winning gold before we get to the Ducks and Oilers tonight.
Well, it's unbelievable. This is peak. I just think peak American hockey. It's the perfect mixture of, if you just think of maybe names back in the day, Kachucks, right? Speaking of the Kachuk brothers out there, I mean, did they not embody their father throughout that whole tournament? You had the speed, right? So I'm just thinking about maybe Madonna back in the day and some of the earlier heydays for U.S. hockey. A ton of speed, right? Just throughout the lineup. Just speaking of the golden goal there with Jack Hughes. I mean, he just brought a ton of speed. One of the faster guys, in my opinion, as far as just overall relentlessness throughout the whole tournament, and including that final game. But yeah, it's the play without the puck that was so special. It was even maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes left in the game. Like USA, they got their backs against the wall because there's been so much pressure there. Last 10 minutes of Canada since they scored in the second period. Into that first few minutes of the third, to have their backs up against the wall, even though that they were, I guess maybe it would have been tied by that point. But bottom line, the pressure was on, and they were getting the pucks out. I don't think that there was one defensive zone blue line turnover as far as getting the field clear or not getting clear. Just getting it in the corner, never giving it to Bennington, the goalie, on each and every dump. So just the details were there to the very end. I think that was one of the reasons why they were propelled to victory. And then, I mean, who would have thought, a guy like Nathan McKinnon, to his pedigree, he misses the open net there on the near side outside of the post. And then he loses the puck battle, leading to the goal. I mean, that guy, that caliber, that stage happening to him out of all people, that's what makes the Olympics the Olympics. So yeah, no, this is peak, and I don't want to get into politics, but we needed this. This is peak Americana. This is peak just patriotism, America first. This is, I mean, you see these guys so prideful and proud, and I only feel comfortable saying this on a Canadian radio show here, just because you guys have been so spoiled rotten over the last I don't know, decades of just winning, right? So I feel a little bit more comfortable just being open and so proud about all these guys and seeing their patriotism and really be professional about it. Like it's not like over the top, patriots. It's just they're hey, red, white, and blue. They're not, from what I've seen, over the top with any type of America first or being proud that they won gold for their country and represented their country. I think every statement, whether it's Jack Hughes or the rest of them, it hasn't been outlandish. It's just been straight to the point. Hey, this is USA. We love representing our country. I think they've been getting flack for just even that, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm proud about the way these guys played, and I'm proud with how they've handled the celebrations for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. I think all the political stuff should just stay out of it. But like you said, yeah, Billy Guerin picked the team to beat Canada in the final, and that's what they did, right? I mean, I do think we'd be having a different conversation if Team Canada buries some of those chances, and it's a 4-1 game, and then now maybe we're talking about Jason Robertson and Cole Caulfield, but hey, it didn't happen. They won, and yeah, I would agree that they won with class.
I'm not totally in agreement with that.
That's a great. Well, that's a great point, Schlemmer. Like if you think of the pressure of Bill Guerin and that was the talk leading up to opening puck drop there for Team USA, leaving out Caulfield, leaving out Robertson, right? And I think you just don't want to hear about that anymore. It's a tough break for those guys. I'm sure those guys' time will come, but that's a great point.
Emerson Edom with us, Ducks analyst Kevin Karius, David Schlemko with you on Sports 1440. So massive game tonight. You know where these two teams are in the standings, E. And I mean, just as far as the Ducks roster goes, who are we looking at that's closer to getting back? I mean, Leo Carlson's the one guy that I wanted to go there. I know he's not quite ready, or is he getting close? Where are we at with a guy that missed the Olympics and is close to returning here?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm like I said, I got yanked for tonight's broadcast. But with that said, I'm still in the loop, and I'm waiting for that tonight's roster to be dropped in our group chat here for the media here. So I'm all eyes, all ears when it comes to Leo Carlson, but I expect him to be back. That was the timeline. I know he's been skating, and I'll leave it at this. All signs point to him being back for tonight's game. And you know what? It's almost like you need him back. You got a pissed off McDavid. You got to think he's like, if he didn't already need more motivation, right? Like he's countlessly on the other side of these opportunities, and he hasn't been closing, whether it's the 2 cup runs there or this past gold medal game. Like, I mean, he has failed to secure it, and he's just going to be even more relentless and more scary. And you got to think that his teammates obviously can feel it too, right? They're like, oh boy, our guy is on this the wrong side of this yet again. I anticipate this being just an extremely scary Edmonton team. And I don't know. Who knows with the goaltender situation? You thought that maybe early on you had a solution, so that it remains to still be a mystery right until playoff time, right? But no, bottom line, all I can say is McDavid's pissed off. He's going to play pissed off. So are his teammates, and it's only going to make this Edmonton Oiler team more relentless and scary. So my point adding to that would be Ducks just got to dictate the pace of play. Like, face-offs are going to be huge. Starting each play with possession, obviously huge against these guys. And you got to hit them where they've been hurt, and that's the goaltender department. So bad angle shots right on the goal line, just throw them at it, the tendy skates, just get some greasy ones. And a guy like Cutter Gauthier, who's known to score those type of goals, this is his type of game. It's a speed game. The Ducks need speed. He can match that speed, and he's known to have some of those bad angle shots, which they got to be shooting from everywhere.
Okay. Another guy with a lot of speed I wanted to ask you about, a local kid here, Olin Zellweger. It looks to me like he's a great skater. He's almost looks like a little bit of like Quinn Hughes light out there. Here's a guy you see all the time. Does he have that potential to kind of take his game to another level and be that super dynamic offensive defenseman?
100%. He is Quinn Hughes light. And when I say that, it's one of those things where if there's a comparable, he kind of has that motor, right? Yeah. And he's shifty. He's being pressured. He'll quickly spin off you. And he just goes. Like, he's just one of those guys that it's timed right. Like, as he's skating, each stride is matched with the stick handling and the hands. And he's got that motor that matches, Quinn Hughes. And, you'll see maybe a little bit less activeness and just overall skill in comparison. And that's obviously understandable.
Yeah.
But think Quinn Hughes, think a lot of what you see, maybe not as much, maybe not obviously as high end, but right in that same kind of ballpark. So he's a stud. And my last point to that is he's a guy that, what do you do if you're the Ducks? Where contract wise, because you got Mintyukov, you got Carlson and Gauthier. All these guys are up here, and same with Zelly. And if you just look at Zelly's stats, he's got how many tucks here? He's got 6 goals. So, that matches what, how about that? Trouba's at 9 goals. But, look, Jackson Lacombe, you locked him up for what, 70 plus mil. He's at 6 goals. And I know he's got a boatload of assists, but you now have kind of got yourself in a sticky situation. A good thing. It's a good thing, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. He's got 6 tucks. Lacombe's got 6 tucks. That's pretty good company right there.
What do you think the path, the direction for Pat Verbeek and management is here? Because, they're right neck and neck with the Oilers. They've got some guys that are UFAs in the back end, as you mentioned, and Trouba and Gudis. And there are some other guys that have the possibility to be extended. And we all know those names and things like that. What do you think the charge of attack, the plan of attack is here for the Ducks at the trade deadline?
Well, I think people if there were any questions regarding, Pat Verbeek and his decision making, I think those questions have been quickly put to rest as far as, Beckett Seneca and just him and jumping up as far as him not, mid-ranked in the central scouting there. He picks him at number 3, and we've further on find out that Columbus was going to take him at 4 there. But that was just such high risk, high reward thinking right there. And lo and behold, and he's way ahead of the curve. He's been one of the best and most consistent players. I think he's been the most consistent player for the Ducks this season.
That's impressive.
First 20 games it was Leo. First 20 games it was Leo. Then he had a little bit of a cold streak there during the big 9-game skid. But even through the skid, through game 1, Beckett Seneca. And he's one of those guys where he's like a Brendan Shanahan back in the day, or a guy that had the skill, but boy, he'll hack you after the whistle. He'll get in your face. He hasn't dropped him yet, but boy, he just plays that old school hockey that you just got to appreciate for a kid that young. Mm-hmm. He's that puck is glued to his stick. He's so good on the forecheck. He slows everything down. He's got an unbelievable shot. And that's definitely that's helped this team out through the highs and lows so much, having a guy that young be able to come in and do big things. So he's been the most consistent player. This is contract wise, it's going to be interesting. But going back to my Pat Verbeek point, I think there was question marks with Kreider and Trouba. Those are, have been silenced in any speculation there as if that was going to go well. That's been huge. How about Poehling? How about a Zegras Poehling trade? Poehling's been so consistent. He's been great on the PK there. He's been up there as far as one of the more consistent players. So that's been a huge boost. That's what this team needed, especially down the stretch. We have enough skill when talking Zegras-esque style of play. So to get that depth there on the third, fourth line, that was huge. And I just think point blank, Pat Verbeek just needs to keep being a high risk, high reward GM. And he needs, I think, why not? Why not go out? You got some, I think, room. I mean, look at the talent in San Diego. You got Tristan Luneau. I mean, many say he should be up right now. Tyson Hines, a great D. You got Cedaroff. You got all these names, and you got some depth guys bouncing back and forth. Tim Washy. So this organization as a whole is so deep, and this next decade here for Ducks hockey is going to be tremendous.
Well, Emerson, thanks so much for your time. And when I think of Landman and Billy Bob Thornton, I think of David Schlemko. That's what I think.
I know. It's just, that is the hat in that throw. Whether it's the players that come through, I agree with you. It's so great. That's just, it's the hat's so great. Landman, what a show. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's a great point.
Thanks, Emerson. Enjoy the game tonight, even though you're not on the call. We'll talk soon. It was good to catch up with some old Tigers memories as well, too. Thanks, Emerson. Emerson Edom, Ducks analyst, not on the call tonight, but frequently, I guess, kind of a half and half, or if you want to call it that. That's the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the all-new Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. Check them out at StAlbertDodge.com. You can get them below $50,000. Pretty good.
I don't think there's a whole lot of oil going on in Medicine Hat.
Wow. Are you all caught up to date on Landman? Have you watched? Or
yeah,
you're up.
Sorry, I'm near the end of the second season.
So season 2, you're basically at the end. Yeah. And some interesting things. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the first season better. I'm kind of getting like to the point where I'm over it a little bit.
So, I mean, I think every series is kind of like that. There aren't very many that can keep you riveted throughout. Duke's into The Sopranos right now, which is keeping him riveted.
I tried to watch that like on the plane like 10 years ago, and I just couldn't get into it.
Because I've tried once before too. It does start a little slow.
Okay.
And then you get into it, and then everybody starts whacking whacking guys and whatnot, it picks up. It's never like it's not an action drama, right? It's all about the
mob,
the behind the scenes and what's actually not being said and all that stuff. So it's a little bit more of like a slower drama, I suppose. But I've really enjoyed it without a doubt. I think I'm on season 4 now.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to watch it. It's a classic.
It's one of those shows that it got to a point in my life now. I was 31 years old. How can I say when people ask me that I haven't seen The Sopranos, I had to check it off the list.
And you have to invest some time into this.
Well, it's a long series. The episodes are obviously an hour long each time.
Weeks.
But like you're almost looking for something like that now. I feel like so many of the shows now are
just like
so
one or
bad.
2 seasons, and yeah, a lot of stuff getting pumped out is poor quality. So a throwback like that, I'm enjoying it. It was nice going hand in hand with one of the new shows, which was also on HBO and Crave. Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is the Game of Thrones spinoff. It was just 5 episodes, but it was awesome. Like it for not being as action packed as the other Game of Thrones series. Each time an episode ended, I wish there was another one to watch.
Yeah,
but I had to wait for the next Sunday.
You know, we're almost at the tail end here of Absentia.
Okay,
which is well, it's on Netflix, and there's enough there to keep you going. It's 3 seasons too.
Oh yeah.
So there's been enough there to keep a guy going. There's some weirdness to it, obviously. It's the way it is.
I don't mind that.
It's an FBI movie.
Okay.
But some captivity and torture and things like that.
Perfect.
Right up your alley, Slammer. The Landman, starring David Schlemko.
I thought that was so funny when he first said that. Such a California kid.
Yeah. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Whether you need bodywork, paint touch-ups, or anything in between, the family at Cougar Paint and Collision takes every customer issue to heart.
We've had a lot of really good customers over the years. One guy, he would bring in everything and he would just expect us to be able to kind of fix it. It didn't matter what it was. And one time he brought in his washing machine.
The only thing that was wrong with it was the drum was rusted out or something.
Yeah, he wasn't going to replace it.
Yeah, we had to weld it up. Anyways, he was a nice old guy. Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca. He's heading into the driveway. Temperatures dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Looking for auto parts without the dealership price tag? You'll save big here at Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlaw. From engines and alternators to doors and glass, we carry quality tested used parts at unbeatable prices. Why spend thousands when you can spend hundreds? Keep your car and your budget running strong with Ed's Auto Salvage. I'm Lisa, inviting you to stop in soon or visit us online. We offer province-wide shipping and daily delivery to Edmonton. edsautosalvage.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 1048 in Edmonton, home stretch of the Kevin Karius Show with David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick here on a Wednesday morning, game night for the Oilers in Anaheim, 8:30 start. That's just the way it goes. I wish the Pacific games like in California would be 8 or 7 there, but I think a lot of people just, the traffic is to get to these games.
Insane.
They need that extra half an hour.
Yeah.
It is nuts over there.
That's crazy, man.
I've been to, I don't know how many times at the, Staples Center, crypto.com now or whatever, but it's nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
In Phoenix, we always used to, well, obviously you get there the day before the game, but we'd always plan to fly in at and land at 4:30. And it'd take an hour and change to get from the airport to the hotel. It's haven't we figured this out by now?
No kidding. Where did you live when you played for the most part in Phoenix? Because where the rink was is
not by the rink. By the practice rink is in Scottsdale.
So how far is the drive from there to the Glendale Arena?
28 miles.
All
highway. About half an hour.
Yeah. If you're Nick Habibulin, you're doing that in 15 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah,
Nick.
probably not
Nick
a great
was
idea
a great
to
guy
do.
when he was here. He was
90 down Scottsdale Road. Yeah. You should get pulled over for that.
Wow. I mean, there were so many, and that's one of the reasons that it didn't work out in Glendale, because the fans to go there sometimes 2-3 times a week.
It's too far.
From even the other side what's that, Apache Junction on the other side?
Yeah, well, I want to say most of the money kind of hockey fans-ish would be Scottsdale, Mesa, kind of all on the northeast side of the valley. And then they built the rink on the west side. So.
Right. That's so far away. I mean, do you think it'll ever get back there, hockey in Phoenix?
I hope so. I don't know.
So they would need a rink downtown Phoenix, basically?
They need a downtown or East Valley. I think if you could find somewhere at Scottsdale, Mesa, even Chandler. I guess ASU's around Chandler, so that would be kind of tough. But
yeah,
anywhere but where it is right now would be better.
ASU, that is that near that where the football stadium used to be? That's where the old Sun Devil Stadium. Yeah. So would there be room for?
I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah,
probably not there.
And it was just so sad because to be honest with you, it was great to go down there and did a lot of games down there when I was.
Oh yeah, that whole Westgate area, that's awesome.
And then at that point they were just building. Years ago they were building the football stadium.
Right.
And look, I can remember everyone on the bus going what the hell is it, like a spaceship landing there?
Well, it makes the rink look tiny,
doesn't it? Yeah,
right next to it.
And then all the other stuff that ended up getting built, it reminded me of. And a tiny, tiny little bit of how Ottawa was with Canada.
Yeah.
So far away from Ottawa, that highway there is.
You got the same problem.
So I don't know what the schedule is for the new rink in Ottawa here. It's several years. I mean, they just got the land. So
it'll be a while still, eh?
Yeah, I think. And then Calgary's.
When's Calgary done?
Calgary's 2027. So one more year, and then they should be ready to go.
Okay.
That'll be tough. So what do you make of tonight's game? Like, do you think like some players are going to be rusty and then other players will be mentally tired? What are we at here?
I don't really know what to expect. Honestly, I would think there's got to be like a little bit of a mental kind of letdown, emotional letdown. Like I said, for guys like Connor, especially after that heartbreaking loss. For a guy like Leon, I don't know. I kind of expect him to be at his best tonight. He's had, I don't know how many days now. I don't know when he traveled back or anything like that, but you'd think that he's had some time to kind of put the mental baggage away and kind of get his feet under him and get his mind around what he's got to do the rest of the year here.
So much different for the two of them when you think about it, right?
Oh,
and Leon was going, okay, if there's any way we could get to a semifinal game, that would be massive.
No expectations.
Yeah, massive. Connor McDavid was gold or bust. So the emotional angle there is way different.
Right. Now you look at a team like Anaheim, and who do they have that played in the Olympics?
Well, I mean, Lacombe was there but didn't play.
Right.
They would have, Michael
Gudas, Dostal, and Graham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at Duke. He knows all his ducks.
Yeah, I know the Olympics. I just watched it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't expect that any of those guys would have a huge letdown. I think it's really whichever team is, come out of that break and had a couple of real good practices and has a good focus and comes out ready to play.
Maybe we can expect like Tristan Jarry to go after Radko Gudas for his old buddy Sid Crosby in Pittsburgh. Hey, what do you think of that? Huh? Hey, how would that work for him?
How would it work for Tristan Jarry? Probably not very well, I would think.
What about old Minty on the back end there, Duke? He's another young guy, hey?
Yeah.
He's a guy who you heard a lot about.
He had a really good rookie season.
Yeah, a couple of years ago or last year. Not so much right now.
Well, and then the start of this year, it was his agent was wanting him to be traded because he was kind of in and out of the lineup. That third pairing for the Ducks has been kind of a rotation. Like Zellweger is sat, Hellison is sat. Ian Moore, who's a college guy, he's played forward ahead of like actual forwards that are available to him. He's a defenseman. He's played left wing on the fourth line for him, but because they just like having him on the roster and the versatility. So yeah, it's like Emerson Edom kind of said, like they've got some decisions to make with guys in the back end because there's still a couple more guys in San Diego that are pushing it as well. Like Tristan Luneau played at the World Juniors for Canada. Tyson Hines was the Quebec League D-Man of the Year a couple of years ago. Got quite a bit of positional depth.
So a late game to watch for you, Schlemmer, tonight. Well, you got to pick up tomorrow. That's tomorrow for the
8 bells tonight.
How many pickups today?
Well, actually, my one kid doesn't have anything tonight.
Ooh.
Tonight's a pretty light night.
Wow.
Probably just one drive.
A little 8:30 hockey action for you. Hey,
Tonight?
Well, 8:30 watching the game. You could watch the game.
Yeah.
There you go.
Be watching it later for sure. I thought you had another Critters game tonight.
Last one of the year tomorrow. Good stuff, Schlemmer. We'll yak at you next week. Have a great weekend.
You bet. Sounds
That's
good. Man.
Our co-host for Cougar Paint and Collision, David Schlemko. Coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Rush-Up T-Bird.
Connor Halley and the Duke of Delburne, 12 o'clock. It's the Lowdown with Ellen Mitchell, 2 to 6. Jason Greger drives us home with the Jason Greger Show. We'll have the pregame show with Andrew Walker, Landon Ferraro, Donnie P at 7:30. Puck drop shortly after 8:30. Post-game to follow. She'll be a late one. We'll have Fox Sports all night. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 bells with our co-host coming in around 9:30, Ladislav Schmid. Until then, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high quality promotional products for your businesses, sports teams, corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That is Fusion with a Z. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Until then, here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
For the first time in 3 weeks, it is game day for the Edmonton Oilers. They kick off a 3-game California road trip in Anaheim tonight against the Ducks. Puck drop coming just after 8:30. Pre-game coverage right here on Sports 1440 starting at 7. 37 of the games around the rest of the NHL. Devils hosting the Sabres, Flyers in Washington. Maple Leafs up against the Lightning. Kraken playing the Stars. Avalanche head to Utah. Ducks host the Jets. And the Kings take on the Golden Knights in the other nightcap game. In case you missed it this morning, Sidney Crosby placed on injured reserve by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Expected to miss a minimum of 4 weeks with a lower body injury that he sustained in Canada's quarterfinal game at the Olympics against Czechia. In the AJ tonight, Lloyd Minster taking on Devon, while Bonnyville hosting Fort McMurray just outside of the city. And in the association, handful of games, including the Toronto Raptors, second half of a back-to-back. They host the Spurs tonight, 5:30 tip-off from Scotiabank Arena. Other games, Detroit hosting OKC, Sacramento and Houston, Memphis up against Golden State, Cleveland playing Milwaukee, and the nightcap, Denver hosting the Boston Celtics. Spring training, Blue Jays back at it again today in Grapefruit League action. Top of the hour, they will play the Detroit Tigers. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brendan Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall.